Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Umzansi Esports League hosted by Nodwin Gaming. Dr. Sid is having a little bit of a mic issue, so I'm going to intro us into this one. Oh, are you back? Are you in? I take it away. It seems like Dr. Sid's mic is still acting up just a tiny little bit, but yeah, today is the day we are back. It's the third day of the Umzansi Esports League. Besides Dr. Sid here, I'm joined by Actfire. Actfire, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm super excited to be here. I mean, with the exciting games that we've seen so far, I'm hoping today's the same. So yeah, I'm super excited to be here.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Okay. We're safe. All is good in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited to be back today. Technology will not keep me away from you. It is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. And today we're going back to FIFA 21. I'm here with Actfire and Dendo Plays, and we're going to bring you some amazing action for the best players in South Africa who play FIFA 21. Guys, it's been an amazing weekend so far. Today is the last day of this weekend. The action continues next weekend. Just very quickly, I want to just run through what the leaderboard looks like right now. And let's talk about the prize pool first. Let's look at the prize pool, at what these players are playing for. Tendo, you want to talk us through this?
Well, for this season of the Umzansi Esports League, we have two titles. A PUBG Mobile coming in with a whopping $15,000 prize pool. And then, of course, a FIFA 21 with the 2,500 prize pool. There's a lot of money on the line here, Dr. Sid, and there's a lot of plays that we've seen so far throughout the weekend. Yesterday, we had a very formidable match in our FIFA lineup. If you remember yesterday's match up with Darth and Divac.
It was 9-4 or something ridiculous like that. That is just to show you that players can come through with their A game. Look at the standing. Divac there, top of the table, above Unfazed. And at the bottom of the table, we'll see Young Savage and Dark Mayhem. And it's not over for these guys. There's still a lot of football to be played over the next couple of months. And we're hoping to see some exciting games, hopefully some upsets. And I'm super excited about what's going to be happening. Now, Actfire, you were here with me day one. What do you think? What are you expecting today from our two talents that are going playing? Let's take a look at the players who are going to be competing today in today's matches.
Okay, so definitely what we saw from the first game was, it being very cautious between Unfazed and Savage. And I think what sort of happened in the second day was the teams just went all out, going on their attacking front. And I hope to see more of that today. I hope to see them, between Masoom and Mobizilla, just go all out, try to get the goals early on, and try to break down defenses.
I really like this name, Mobizilla and Masoom. Like Mobizilla is like double M is like M&M. It's like I'm guaranteed to have a sweet match today. Now, over the last 2 days, we've seen two contrasting styles of football. On the first day, we had Unfazed play very cautious. The two players tried to feel each other out, and then the second game was quite explosive. But then the second day, we had Divac taking the game to the player right from the first game. It was all-out action. So that just tells me that we never know what to expect in any of these games. Nando, I don't know. I'm not familiar with any of these guys, so I'm going to be super excited to watch, see. But what would you like to see happen in game one and game two of today's matches?
Yeah, I mean, if I've done my history right, and I'm hoping I have, this was the final of last season's FIFA 2021. There's FIFA 20 back then, Esports League for Nodwin, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a bit of a rematch between Massom and Mobizilla. So I'm sure we're going to see them, come at each other as fast as they can and bring out whatever skills and tactics they have, because I'm sure the two of them have played with each other quite often, and they used to also represent the same organization. Right now, Massom is still repping the banner of Bravado. Unfortunately, it does look like Moby was dropped from the Bravado roster. But it's still competing. Obviously, he's here in the Esports League trying to show his name. So this is going to be one of those games where we'll see who's really got the fire to win. Maybe someone has a point to prove here. Not too sure what we'll see, but I'm really excited to see what we're going to get.
Wow. It is nice to know that there's a bit of history and a bit of rivalry. Now, we've seen, like, I know from the last game I felt that there was a little disconnect between the attack and the midfield and the defense and the midfield. And we have to jump straight into the match right now. What do you expect to see Actfire in this match? We're going to jump straight into the match while we just talk about these few points.
Go at each other. Since there's a bit of history, they're not trying to understand their games. They already know how each other play. So yeah, they're going to go for the juggler straight from the start. So yeah, that's definitely what I expect.
Well, the match is about to kick off, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mobizilla against Massoom, and I'm leaving you in the capable hands of Dendo and Actfire as they talk you through the play-by-play of this third match in the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 FIFA 21 tournament.
The game is well on the way, and I'm pretty excited to see what we're going to get here, because it does seem like so far things are pretty controlled and a lot of the game is being played in the middle of the field so far, Actfire. And again, we did talk about there was going to be a bit of a rivalry here. Do you think that's going to be a big play in some of these attacking plays that we're going to see from the players?
Yes, I definitely think so. I mean, understanding how each other play, like you can see as the game has already begun, you can see Mobizilla and Masum just going at each other from day one. They know how each other play. They know how to break down the defenses, and they also do know what to expect. So yeah, we're going to see them just pushing in, attacking, no cautious gameplay, because I mean, you already know how your opponent plays. So yeah, that's exactly what to expect. As you can see, almost getting into that box right there.
So the ball is fumbled in the middle of the pitch right now. It's going to be played down the line onto the wing over here. And unfortunately, the defense just too strong, well read. Going to be able to clear the ball forward here now. It's onto Neymar. And Neymar's been such a big and crucial pick, I find, so far in this Umzansi Esports League Actfire. What do you think of Neymar and what he brings onto the pitch, for these players that are really able to unlock and utilize him?
Yeah, it definitely brings that those crazy moments where he can, use one or two tricks to just open up the defenses, as we saw Savage do in the first game where he got those 2 quick goals. Trickery is what Neymar brings into the game, and something special. So yeah, having him in your team definitely allows, gives you those options to create those special moments.
Yeah, so Massom gonna play the ball down, not really capitalizing, and so far Moby's defense has been notable. And I mean, on the opposite end, they've both had notable defenses. We haven't seen too many chances being created here. Passing the ball back to PK, down to Kane. Ball's gonna go down the line. Navas now gonna be able to play things on here for Moby. Loses it in the middle of the pitch now. There's a play and an opening for Massom. We'll see what he does from this. Doesn't really seem like there's many options in front of the pitch for him. Does find the through ball onto Ronaldo, but read well by PK, and Moby gets the ball back.
Ooh, PK definitely read that one in time there. Had he missed that particular chance, it would have been a straight chance and a true ball right into the box 18. So he did do a good job saving his team right there.
Yeah, definitely a really good job. So now De Jong on the ball. And Moby's trying to make a big attack of play here, but the defense is well set up on the opposite end on Masoom's side. Trying some passing plays, trying to pull some defenders off their line, but right now it's strong and he's able to get the ball back now. Masoom, really great defending from here, and you can see why he's a champion. He's holding his line well. Bit of a play here with Ronaldo passing it, not enough pace on the ball to really make any trouble, but he's going to keep pushing it forward.
Ooh, and this might be a very good chance if he can get that ball in. Oh my goodness. Woo. That was so close.
Yeah, just a little bit of unfortunate timing, I think, there, but it's one back by Massom. He tries to take a shot, but unfortunately he doesn't manage to capitalize from it now. Moby with Navas going to be able to run it down onto the wings. isn't really finding anything here. The defense on both sides has just been a brick wall so far to penetrate. It's been 30 minutes in this first half, and here's another play. I must say, I think Masoom's been making a little bit more of the plays compared to Moby here. I think Akfire, and eventually one of these is going to capitalize, and this might be the moment.
Whoa,
but unfortunately,
so
just not yet.
So close.
Oh, big shots coming in here. He's trying to play it, trying to work from the scraps. The scraps aren't enough for him. He's gonna need a little bit more here. Moby now needs to stabilize, open up the middle of the pitch. He's passing it well. Now onto Navas. Navas got some pace on him, might be able to make a run, passing this back to Caden. Caden plays it to Mount, opening things up to Rashford. Rashford back to Mount. Moby trying to make some plays, but the pitch is on lockdown over here at Fire. It's not looking easy for him to penetrate.
If Rashford can get in that cross. And this is definitely what you expect from players who understand their game so well. They know how to sort of like defend against each other and each other. So it's definitely going to take something special and a mistake from one player or the other, and you do have to take your chances, because you saw he had a chance not too long ago, but he did miss. Yeah, those are the things that are going to separate both teams. But it's lovely to see the action going down quite early already.
Yeah, so compared to yesterday's matchup, this one's a little bit more controlled, a little bit more stabilized. We're not really seeing any haphazard plays from either side. So, like you said, they formulated and they know exactly how each other play. But now Moby with Navas passing it down the line onto Messi. Messi's going to try and make something down here in the halfway line. But that's the half, and it ends 0-0. Very tight, I think. Very tense. I mean, if we had a knife, you could cut the atmosphere, I feel. No one's trying to give up a goal onto either side. And I just feel like, the players really got, their tactics on lock.
Yeah, very, very tight gameplay. I mean, that's what you definitely expect from guys who do understand each other, who know how each other play, who know how to stop the attack. So it's going to take something special from each of them. So yeah, I'm excited to see how the next game is going to go, and yeah, how they both break each other down. So let's see. I can't say who really definitely has the upper hand when it comes to play style so far from what I've seen.
Yeah, I must agree with you. It's kind of hard to... It's almost like similar play styles, I feel, I feel like each of them are waiting for a counter-attacking opportunity, but because their defense is so solid, there's not really much play for them to work from. But it's now Moby on the ball who will try push things forward to open it up. Doing some fancy passes here, opening things up quite nicely here. So now the defense of Massom is going to have to pull back. There's a bit of an opening here onto the wing where Rashford is. Rashford is going to pull it all the way back, and I just feel like they're just not able to really open up the middle of the field here. Good pass to defense.
Ooh, lovely possession work right there from Moby. He's just trying to break down the defense at this particular point in time. If he does get the opportunity, not enough pace right there. The thing about these two players is they're both good at holding possession, and they're both good at keeping the ball. So like I said, that special moment might just come in, and it's just slim margins at this particular point in time. One mistake from one player, but we might see that right now.
Beautiful shot coming in, but the keeper just there to buy the time and bring them into a corner though. Corner, nothing capitalizes too much. Going to be able to clear this one out. And I have a feeling whoever strikes first blood here might just, open up the faucet a little bit here, Agfire. So we'll see how well the defenses can hold, as it does seem like in this half so far, it's Moby on the attacking, and it's Masoom who's sitting back a little bit more. Now the ball's being played into the middle. Messi with the ball, passing it back to De Jong, back to Mount. Some great passing play here from Moby. He's going to hit the turner on here. Has an opportunity to take a shot, but he's just getting closed down so much. There's not much for him to work, and the shot is on.
My goodness.
Keeper there to save the day once again, and the keeper's been working OT here for Massom.
The keeper has just been time and time again saving Massom. But I mean, I mean, credit to him though how he structures his team because he's leaving little space for Moby to work with. You know, when he finally does get that chance, you know, he's not giving him too much room to work with. So yeah. Here we go again with Mount on the ball, and why he get that chance? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a very marginal game at this point, I believe. So now Ronaldo playing it for Massom. Mbappe, it's a great turn here. I'm going to play it onto the wing. Couple of fancy footwork dribbling onto one. Cancelo back into the box to Atal. Atal might have a shot on here. The defense is a bit tight. He's going to have some opportunity to pass the ball in the box onto Neymar. Neymar can't really create much here for Ronaldo. Ronaldo's going to have to take a shot, or the defense is going to get it. And that's exactly what happens. And Moby's defense just unbreakable at this point, and we're still at a deadlock in the 70th minute. Oh, Atal. Oh, that's unfortunate. Offside. Gonna get a few changes in now. Yeah, I mean, Agfire, you know, it's pretty tense. I mean, comparing this to how, you know, the past few days have been going, we've seen a lot of goals so far, and I think right now it's a pretty deadlock and not too many opportunities. Well, there's a lot of opportunities being created, but because the defense is so good, because the keepers as well have been playing their part in this one, it's been a level peggy up until the 71st minute.
Yeah, the keepers have definitely come in and, you know, been a saving grace, especially for Masoom. Moby has come out in this second half, you know, gun blazing, trying as much as possible to create those chances. He's been. I mean, it's a bit different from the first game where we had a draw in the first game because teams were being cautious. This time around, they're not being cautious. They're pushing on. They're trying to create those chances, but I mean, the ball's not just getting into the back of the net. As once again, Moby is trying to get that goal, but it just is not, you know, it's not just coming for him so far. But if he keeps playing like this, we're definitely going to see something soon.
Yeah, a few subs rolling in. Hopefully it will spark up a little bit of magic that we keep bringing up here. Ronaldo on the ball, passing it down the line. Great through ball here onto Atal. Not much space for him to work with though here. So now Masoom's gonna have to pull it back. But luckily he gets a free kick in a very dangerous position here.
Could change things. This is a really good position.
Lands it onto Ronaldo. Ronaldo fakes the shot, takes the second shot. The fake capitalizes for Massom. Towards the dying embers of the game, 79th minute, he manages to find it off a free kick, a mistake, and it's a game of margins. You can definitely see that in the margin there was causing that foul, and in the end,
and
it doesn't work for Moby.
That sometimes is the unfair thing about football. You know, you think you have the upper hand. Remember what I said about taking your chances in games like this. You know, it could mean the difference, you know, between winning the game and losing it. You know, Moby had several chances, but, you know, they just kept getting blocked by the keeper, and Massoom gets his, and it's in the back of the net. And that's FIFA for you. But Moby coming in again, trying to create this position, but now he would feel tense while he's trying to push in, and Massoom can capitalize on that because the defense won't be as structured as it used to be because Moby's trying to get, you know, ahead, and he can just break that down. But let's see how it goes.
Defense is still great from Moby's side, and yeah, I mean, it's just a free kick that pretty much ultimately seems to be the decider for this one. Thankfully, it is obviously 2 legs, so it's not over yet for Moby. And I mean, he still has this attack that he can probably capitalize from here if he can play his cards right, and maybe this is it as he passes it down the line. So now Moby on the wing tries to get a pass in, but no pace on that one. Gonna be read by the defender too well. So Massom gets control back of the ball and is going to be able to carry this into additional time and probably secure this one for him. Oh, very tight game, I think. You know,
Yeah,
Agfire.
very,
It's
very, very tight game. Very tight game.
very unfortunate that it ultimately comes down to, you know, a game of mistakes where someone's just waiting for a mistake to be made and capitalizing from that. And I mean, look, after the ball gets crossed back into the box and it's passed to Ronaldo, that fake shot that he hits is just absolutely superb.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I didn't expect Masoom to win this game the way it was going, especially in the second half. With Mobizilla just bombarding Masoom's defense. But yeah, that's the game of football. If you don't take your chances and your opponent gets one chance and he takes his, the game could just turn his head on you. So, and that's exactly what happened in this game. But definitely, in the second leg, I'm hoping to see Moby come all out like he did in that second half, and maybe get his own goal. So
Yeah, no, definitely. That's for sure. And I mean, look, we spoke about them understanding each other's play style. I mean, we could see that definitely where
yeah, definitely.
it was just a back and forth and a back and forth. And I mean, they each had their own halves, you know. I feel like the first half was more Masom's half where we saw his attacking prowess and what he could offer onto the table. And then the second half, Moby came through and he was really attacking and it looked as if almost he would be the one to score the goal first. But unfortunately, you know, sometimes the way the cookie crumbles, it doesn't work in his favor like that. And I don't know, maybe it's formations that maybe suffered on the side of Moby, or maybe a couple of players that maybe he could have swapped in and out. I think I was very interested to see Mount. I haven't seen much of Mount, but he was creating like some good opportunities. So I'm not too sure how that one's going to play out, but I mean, we're jumping straight into the second leg here, Agfire.
All right. Yeah. So I do hope to see more from Moby. Let's see how this one goes.
We'll see how it goes indeed. And again, we're starting things off. A lot of central play amongst the two. And the ball's now on to Ronaldo on the side of Massom. He's going to be able to work it just a tiny little bit in this pocket of the wing. Finding a little bit of room into the center. Passes it back to Ronaldo. Ronaldo making some good turns in the box here. Onto Neymar. Neymar with the through ball. Onto the towel.
Oh my goodness.
And it's an early opener here from Massom.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now,
amazing
watching Masoom, I can definitely say when it comes to tricks, you remember how we said in the first game opener games between Unfazed and Savage, where they did have similar game styles, but it just seemed like Savage had more trickery, and I feel like that's the difference between these two teams right now. While they are very similar in play styles, it does seem like when it comes to tricks and opening that defense, Masoom just has an edge over Mobizilla, and that's the difference here.
Yeah, definitely. Edge is the correct way to put it, but Moby still tries to create as many opportunities as he can. And I mean, it's like the whole team is here defending for Massom. If you can check it out, it's almost impossible to even create an opportunity at this point. So he's closing things down well. His back line is holding the line. His middle field is pulling back for defense. And yeah, he's going to be able to pass this one down.
It's a very sad position for Moby to be in, as that second half gameplay from him in the first leg was absolutely amazing. But once you have your team on the back foot, then it becomes very difficult to defend because you're trying to get back into the game by scoring. So yeah, it's a top position for Moby to be in, where he needs to take players forward right now. But now he's got Mbappe in his defense, and he needs to sort of save his game. But a slight mistake from there, and it could have been game over for him.
Yeah, bit of a swanted opportunity there from Massom. There's a massive pass down the wing here that maybe Moby can find. The player isn't really making much of a run, so he's not going to be able to capitalize from that. So he's rather going to send it down the middle of the pitch here. Mount loses the ball, passing in towards Neymar's side, but they're able to get it back. Moby now trying to formulate an attack, but he's offside, unfortunately. So they'll be able to reset this one on the side of Massom. Cancelo with the ball, passing it down the line.
Oh, wow. All right. As Moby now begins to build up again, he has the ball to Shaw. Taking it over to Mount. All right. Can Messi create a chance? He does definitely need one of those special moments right now as he gets it. Oh! Slight margins. So close right there.
Yeah, that pass was just a little bit too much pace on it. The player wasn't really able to get onto it too well. Ball's going to be taken out here for a throw-in for Masoom, who has a few options to work with here, but he goes to the option on the wing to Atal. Atal being a workforce so far for the side of Masoom. Neymar losing the ball, squandering it. Now, Moby needs to find an attack. He needs a goal in this half if he wants to bring this one back. He's going to push it down the line. Now Kane playing it. Pushing it onto De Jong. De Jong holding it down the middle. There's not much room here for him to work with, but he's able to find something, and the pass is intercepted perfectly by the defense there of Masoom. All right. Massom going to be running the ball down here. Atal with it. He pulls it back. Cancelo going to hold things down the middle. Ronaldo. Oh, Moby is just not able to find much of an opportunity, and yeah, it does seem like I have lost my co-caster Aphelion quickly. Oh, is he back?
Hi guys.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Aphelion, for bringing back the fire into the game. We need some of your expert analysis here, and so far it just seems like Moby hasn't been able to capitalize on too many opportunities. But as soon as I say that, he takes a shot in,
almost
and
gets the chance to get back. Yeah. I really love some of those. I really love him to get back into the game, at least before this half is done, to give him the chance to sort of like come back in the second half. So he needs that one goal right now. But yeah, let's see if luck does shine on the side. You know, there's a bit of luck. There's a bit of an element of luck. You know, in this game, you never know how it may just work in your favor. He definitely does have slim chances, but he can still get those 2 goals in the second half. You never know how it goes.
Yeah, that's true. You never know how it's gonna go, and this half is pretty much done and over at this point. And Ronaldo now is just gonna push it forward to Atal. Maybe there's one final attacking play, but no, the ref calls the whistle and will go into the halftime. And I mean, if you quickly breathe through those stats, I mean, look at that possession. It's almost equal on the side, at fire, and you can just see how well matched the two are for each other. I mean, there hasn't been a flood of goals since that first goal in the beginning from Massom, and I think it was a very, like you said, a lucky opportunity for him to just capitalize in the beginning of a game where you're not really set up or ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where you just get your opportunities and luck just shines on you. And I feel like both of them have been equally matched. Masoom definitely has something when it comes to skill, but so does Moby. But when it comes to that final third, I feel like Masoom just has this tiny little edge when it comes to creating those spaces. But you never know. We may see Moby may still have a trick up his sleeve, but yeah, as you can see right there, still misses another chance, and he's created the chances, but he needs to definitely now take them.
So now, corner for Moby. He's gonna cross it in, and defense read it well, but bounce back for the rebound, and he takes a shot. Doesn't create much from the opportunity, but he's still in here. Mount with it, gets tackled by Atal. So now it's on to Mbappe, De Bruyne, Mbappe. Masoom, bit of fancy work here, trying to play down. Big lob ball here onto Mbappe. Will he get it? No, the defense has snuffed that out quite well. Bit of a reset here. Half just starting, trying to find some footing in here. Navas with the ball. Moby just not creating anything from that play. Could have been crucial for him.
Yeah, Masoom just can now sit back and control his defense and be more organized in that defense. So it's gonna make it harder for Moby to break it down. He has to come up with something special. And maybe players like Ronaldo and Neymar, Messi can create that chance for him. Once again, oh my goodness. Ball is not just getting into the back of the net for Moby. He's creating those chances, you know. He's getting into those positions, but you know, the finishing.
Yeah, the finishing, much like the corners we've seen today, haven't really been up to standard. But the ball's just slid past here onto De Bruyne from Massom. Gonna play it a little bit too fancy. Holds on for it a little bit too long, afterwards read by the defense. So now Moby needs to try and make an attack from this one, and he's got some players running onto this one. One on the wing, misses the pass on pace there, so it's going to be a little bit slower. The defense has time to pull back on the side of Masoom, but the cross comes in. The shot not going to capitalize, and the keeper's able to get that.
So close.
So close, but unfortunately not yet capitalizing here.
And I feel like that's the difference between these two players, you know. Masum is not so great at creating the chances when it comes to Moby. Moby knows how to create those chances, but when Masum does get those chances in the final third, I feel like when it comes to finishing, he's a lot better at it. But making a lot of them, he's not that good at it, and that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. When he does get his chances, he knows how to take them.
Yeah, I love as well.
That's the difference between the two players that I've seen so far. It's all down to the finishing. It's all down to the finishing. I mean, the scoreline does not tell you the entire story, because it just seems like Masoom has been controlling the game, but it's been Moby who's been creating chance on chances. But you know, luck is not just signing on the side when it comes to finishing. And here we have it.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of those things in FIFA 21 that really, you know, is very crucial, because once you get to this point, the turn from Neymar and then for the shot. And I was about to speak about this, where when you're playing up an opponent much like these two, right, where they're both equally matched to a certain degree, one is just struggling with their finishing. It's the finishing that ultimately decides these kind of games in FIFA 21, because those are the, you know, the points that you need to be putting onto the board. And it's all fun and games to put all these chances up on the board, but if your finishing isn't there, then you're going to be struggling to convert. And that's definitely the problem here, is conversion. But Moby isn't going to call it just yet, gonna pass it in, but the pass is just haywire and goes to absolutely nobody now. So he's just stumbling around in the box, trying to find anything that he can at this point. He wants to put something on the board here, Aphelion.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, you can't really blame him, you know, for the scoreline, because one of the things that you definitely do sacrifice when it comes to trying to push forward is your defense. It can't be as composed, because you're trying to get those bodies, you know, on the other side of the field and attack as much as you can. And yeah, that's basically what has affected him right here, you know, creating those loopholes for Masoom to then break through. And yeah, it's a great game plan. It could have gone either ways, you know. He could have gotten those balls at the back of the net and come back into the game, but it's a risk that all FIFA players have to take. And yeah, it didn't work out today, but it may very well, you know, in other games throughout the season work out for him.
Yeah, and we're in the dying embers of this one, and I mean, at this point, it's almost done and dusted. I mean, considering how well the defense of Masoom is. So At this point, it's for goal difference. It's for consolation for Moby, and he misses a shot right in front of the pole.
Oh my goodness, the god
I for
of
sure
goals is
thought
not
he
on
had that
his side
one
today.
in the bag to at least pull back one, but it just goes wide of the target, and it's unfortunate for him at this point. So he's gonna just try push this last attack up the pitch, see what he can capitalize. Navas on the ball. Dion, Kane plays the ball into the center, finds nobody but the defense of Massom, and now it's a counter attack. Massom, you don't need to do this. You don't need to put the nail in the coffin like this. Atal runs past, a couple of moves in, stops in, passes the ball in, and he's gonna shoot the shot in, and he gets it.
Oh wow!
Massom, a masterclass at this point. If Dr. Sid were here with us to say, it ends 4-0.
This is just putting a nail on the coffin right there. You know, if this was MK, we would say finish him.
Wow. Listen, guys. I spent the last few minutes on Footbin trying to work out the lineups and the formations of these two teams, and for me, I was a bit confused because some of the metas and some of the combinations of players was a bit confusing, because what I've noticed is a lot of these players now are playing wing backs in the centre back position. So we had Digne and Mbabu, who are both left backs and right backs, playing centre backs, while we had Hernandez and Cancelo on the outside as well. So what I found is a lot of these players were obviously looking for that pace in the center defensive position. And looking at the way that both teams were set up, I looked at it and said it was very obvious, because I saw Harry Kane being played on the right-hand side. Now, Masoom coming through 5-0 winner over Mobizilla. This is just another testament to the fact that you have to really, 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 really take your chances whenever you get them.
Exactly.
What was the highlight for you in both of these matches, Fire?
I think the highlight basically is just like you said, take your chances. Moby at some point in time, especially in the first leg, seemed to have been controlling the entire game, creating chance upon chance upon chance. But it was either getting the ball out, or the keeper was always there to save Masoom. And then when Masoom just got one chance in that first leg, he took his chances, and it was pretty much the same story throughout the second leg, where Moby was just kept coming at him with chance upon chance, and Slim, Masoom's keeper would just save him at the end of the day. But then Massoom would get one chance, and it's a goal. So it's all about taking your chances at the end of the day, at this particular level. Yeah.
And let's take a look at the updated standings after 3 games played in the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 FIFA tournament. We can see Masoom moves into second position behind Divac, and on face, obviously, on goal difference. This has been really, really exciting. I'm just like, the way the players have set up their teams has intrigued me, because as a FIFA player as well, looking at when you're putting up your teams together in Ultimate Team, thinking about things like chemistry and just the style of play, I learned something new today about the way the makeup of the teams. The players are making sure that they have the pace in the back to cover any sorts of attacks, and obviously strong defenders, strong defensive midfielders like Vieira and Sanchez, to make sure that they can block and obviously prevent any dribblers in and around the box. Today's been amazing. I just need to mention to everyone right now, if you aren't following Non-Ring Gaming Africa on all their socials, please make sure you do that. I'm going to be saying this every single time, because you don't want to miss a single minute of action. Now, then though, seeing what's happened today, we are super excited, because there's a lot of gaming coming on. What are you looking forward to in the future matches in the FIFA 21 tournament?
Yeah, so far, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing an unfazed and Massom matchup and see how they'd fare up. All the winners so far, I'd like to see how they match up against each other, because obviously, opening day, everybody's given their matchup, their first card, and you kind of, from that, deduce how, kind of how their season is gonna go. You know what I'm talking about, and especially when you get a hard matchup, if you can't, take up someone like Massom in the likes of where Moby is, how are you gonna fare against like Unfazed? Maybe you get to like the Beast. How do you go up against him? So it's gonna be interesting to see just how diverse the playstyles are gonna, eventually evolve to when everybody kind of is like mid-season in around July, when everybody's had a feel of each other and how different things are gonna be. Are we still gonna see these, marginal score lines of like 5-0, 9-4, or is it gonna be a little bit more close where it's like 1-1, maybe 2-3, or so
Wow.
that's what I'm excited to see.
Yeah, thank you so much, Daniel and Act Fire. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a break right now, but when we come back, there is still more action coming from the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Northern Gaming. My name is Dr. Sid, and we will see you right after this break. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Northern Gaming. My name is Dr. Hussein. I'm here with two amazing guys, DK and Actfire, and it is PUBG time. It is about to go down on 3 different maps with 3 amazing matches coming up. Today, we've switched it up, and some of the teams you saw, we've seen Group A go against Group B, Group D go against Group C. But let's take a look at what's happening and what these players are fighting for. It is the prize pool.
It's a very interesting prize pool. I mean, just look at that. We got $17,500 for the season 3. Of course, $15,000 being awarded to the PUBG Mobile side, with $2,500 being awarded to FIFA 21. So yeah, Sid, the teams are going to go at this tooth and nail to be the team to get themselves up into that pole position.
And we've had some amazing gameplay going on. Now, check this out. Let's take a look at what the standings look like right now before we go into the games for today. Actfire, what do you think? What do you make of the standings so far?
Definitely, I was surprised just watching the games yesterday, seeing Sincerity come in with those 2 chicken dinners. I mean, I definitely did not expect that before the game started. But what you do hope to see in these games is teams just changing things up, putting in that pressure to the favorite teams, and that's what you're seeing now. You see guys like Rain, Sincerity, Zero Tolerance just coming in and just shaking things up right there in the leaderboard. So hope that continues, and yeah, we'll keep seeing more of those upsets today.
And you can see on the next page of the leaderboard, we have Drogons, my personal team, Citizens Gaming in 10th position, Pain Africa from Somalia, Not Gaming from Nigeria, Natural Killers, Spaza 6, Influence Rage Africa from South Africa, Black Clover from Mauritius, if I'm not mistaken, rounding up the top 16. DK?
Man, it is looking to be a very spicy list of teams that we've got here. Meaning we've got the players there from Lag Esports in as well. We've got BBC, we've got Rainbow Six Madagascar, we've got the players from NFxUNIQUE. We have the Young Thundercats, we've got Aphelion Apex, the players from the Euphoric Gods, as well as the Comfy Cartel team over in 24th place.
And looking at the final page, we've got Fear from Nigeria, Gamers United, Ultra 6, Nibble Esports, Toxic Esports from South Africa, and Blank Legion from Nigeria. For me, one of the most important things I like to see Actfire is the diversity from the African countries to show that this is truly a pan-African event, and the African teams have come out to represent their countries. Actfire, yesterday we had some amazing matches. We're starting off today in Erangel. It is Group A versus Group D. Let's take Fear, Black Cover, one of our winners from yesterday, Undisputed AE, and Spaza 6.
Yeah, definitely what is going to be an interesting match. You do expect to see favorites such as UAE come on board and do perform. Also with the guys with this other group, you have 4KT, you have Citizens, you got Outsiders, you got NFxUNIQUE. I mean, Sincerity. These are all amazing teams, and we did see a beautiful performance from the Sincerity guys with those two winning with their chicken dinners. So they definitely are going to be a team to watch. Same as Rain from Hell. Hell, I mean, there's no team in this group that you can underestimate. It's definitely a tough one to call. So yeah, let's
Thank,
yeah.
thank you for that, for saying that there is no team that should be underestimated, because I like that particular group is the group that I'm rooting for, because I have a vested interest in there. This is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3. PUBG Mobile is about to go down. DK, you have a lot of experience with a lot of these teams. We've seen the action over the last few days. We're mixing it up now. We've had A and B, D and C. Now it's A and D. Who should we look out for? I know. I don't want to put you on the spot to call it, but who would you give the winner with a chicken dinner today?
Well, I can tell you it's going to be a pretty tough one, right? Because the 3 teams that we have at the top of the leaderboard, all 3 of those teams are playing today. So they're going to have yet another chance to increase their standings on that leaderboard. So I'm definitely going to be keeping eye on the teams to see, of course, how they're going to perform in today's games. But if the first and the second day has been anything to look at, I can tell you it is going to be a very hairy fight across all these games here today.
Wow, and hairy indeed. We are waiting for the players as they are boarding the flight to Erangel to drop into their various zones. Ackfire, do you have any pointers or advice for some of these teams going into this match today?
Definitely go all out attacking. I understand that a lot of teams want to rotate, get that placement points. But for me at this level, it's still early on in the season. Go all out, get those kill points, try to attack, try to break down surprise teams, go for the third parties, and hopefully take out your opponent.
Well, now that you mentioned get those kill points, just before we jump into the match, I would like to take a look at the points distribution so people understand exactly what the players are playing for and how going all out and getting those kills affects your strategy. Now, DK, would you talk us through this and just explain to us how it affects the tables and leaderboards and what the players can do?
So as you can see, of course, the players there who managed to find themselves that chicken dinner, they get a lovely 20 points for accomplishing that. Second place, we got 14 points. Third place, we got 10. We got 8 points for fourth place. We got 7 points for fifth, 6 points. And then, of course, the points stop dropping down by 1 all the way down to 10th. From 11th to 16th place, they also then get awarded that 1 point. But then we get to the ever important kill points. That is, of course, also awarding them that 1 point. So we've seen in past games and in past seasons, teams having the ability to come kind of out of nowhere, find themselves in a really strong position, especially with regards to points. And that mainly came from the amount of kills that they were able to acquire throughout these. And of course, as we'll see on the leaderboard, we've got a few teams that have managed to find themselves up in a really high placement. No chicken dinners just yet. So that consistency of placing well in the match, but also bringing a very aggressive kill count in towards that is what's really assisting in getting them up into those positions.
Exactly.
So as we go into Erangel now, I'm super excited. I'm waiting. I've got my notes, my pen, because I've tried to play PUBG Mobile. I've seen some people play with their hands in various positions on the iPad, on the mobile phone, and things like that. But I must say that these players are true athletes. People need to understand that playing video games and PUBG Mobile isn't easy at all. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of time, and these players and all these teams have put in the work and are dedicated to bringing quality esports action on the African continent and showcasing to the world. Now we're going to jump over into Sanhok right now. Erangel right now. I'm Dr. Leave you in the very capable hands of two amazing gentlemen who are going to talk you through the blow by blow, the step by step, shoot by shoot, the winners and the chicken dinners. And I'm wait, hold on. Before we jump over, I asked a question. Why winner chicken dinner? Every time I hear that, it gets me hungry. What?
The players have finished fighting, so yeah, they deserve some
Do you
food.
know the origin of the term winner chicken dinner? Where did that come from?
I don't know. Maybe the creator of the game felt like eating chicken once he was done playing.
What I'm going to do is, while this match is going on, I'm literally going to be researching the origin of the term winner chicken dinner in PUBG Mobile, and I'll give you guys information. If I find something after the first match, we're literally waiting for word from the airport around Sanhok to make sure that our teams are boarded. I think 1 or 2 players left their parachutes. And, you know, we're all about safety at the Umzansi Esports League, right here, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. Just take this moment to do a quick reminder. If you are not following Nodwin Gaming on all our socials, make sure you do that now. We are streaming live on multiple streaming platforms: Facebook, YouTube Gaming, Trovo. We are everywhere, so you have no excuse to miss out on any of the action from the Umzansi Esports League. This is season 3. It is bigger. It is better than you can imagine. So, do I have word from Sanhok yet? Okay, we are still waiting for the teams to board the plane. I hope it's not Citizens Gaming that forgot their parachutes, because I will be having I will be having words with a few players. Let me ask the question. So, DK, if I was to start playing PUBG mobile right now, would you advise me? First of all, would you advise me to play, and what would be your pointers on how to navigate? Because it's a very different battle royale than other battle royales.
Yeah. So first off, I would say yes. PUBG is a fantastic game to be playing. I mean, if it wasn't, I wouldn't be here. So the first thing I would say is practice as much as you can. Try classics and try and get into some friendly games. Try and get in some scrims just to kind of get a feel of what that competitive scene could feel like.
All right, so I'm going to be downloading right now and practicing one game while I'm researching, and I'm going to leave the viewers in your capable hands and act fire as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, PUBG Mobile Game 1 for Day 3.
Well, there we go. Thank you so much there, Dr. Sid. And of course, as you can see, we've got an ever lovely flight path coming in on this first Erangel match of the day. It is a slight bit up in towards the north of the map, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a hassle for the teams. We're already seeing quite a few of those teams getting ready to drop down a little bit further down towards the south, and we could potentially even see some of the teams rotating in their vehicles down to those southern reaches. But of course, the main thing that we're waiting for here, Act, is to see exactly where that zone is going to be forming.
Yeah, exactly. That definitely is the deciding factor for most of these teams, as they do try to just go to their landing spots. Yeah, as you can see where the zone has gone to, it's pretty much on that northeast region, and yeah, a lot of teams would having seen that would then try to start rotating into the zone. Yeah, I hope to see those early actions coming down from the various teams, and yeah, Erangel is always one of those lovely maps. So yeah, if we could get the last Naya battle, it could be really interesting as it ends up. But let's see how.
And after all, Erangel is kind of the home ground for many of these teams. We see a lot of these teams, competing in community events and such on the Erangel map, as well as Miramar. But I mean, Erangel was kind of the first map up. Everybody gets to know it. They play on that. They get accustomed to it. And of course, we can see already the teams here huddled up right there alongside each other on the foothills of that Everest mountain.
And the guys from Fear already getting into the battle, as they do have the guys from Ultra 6 right next to them. Yeah, let's see how this one plays out. Hawk and his compatriots need to be extremely careful with this one. Who's going to get that first knock, as King is pretty close to Lynx. Yeah, let's see how
And I
this
say
goes.
though, if you look at the positioning there of Ultra 6, right? We've got two players right in front, one a little bit further back, and then of course we've got another player over towards the western side. So that is a really advantageous split that we've got for the side there of Ultra 6. I mean,
Yeah.
Fear, we can only see two of their players. We don't know where the rest of the squad is.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
wouldn't be too surprised if Ultra 6 moved in and actually took out these two players from Fear. But now we can see me coming up from
We
way
coming
down in
in.
the south.
Yeah.
So it'd be a difficult one here for them.
Yeah, it's a very, very tricky one for them as one of the players, either me or that player on the west side, like you mentioned for six, just changing this entire game. And yeah, let's see who strikes that first blow. But yeah, you can see King and me just trying to get a good spot. But it does look like Mullins has spotted them. And whoo, no brainer with the first. Yeah. Ooh. Wow. And yeah, he gets that first one right there, taking things down, and it is now left to Hawk. Mojo is trying to push in, with the smoke protecting him.
I mean, I can tell you things are pretty tough now for the side here of the players there from Fear. I'm pretty sure they could be experiencing a little bit of fear as the team here from Ultra 6 now just starts surrounding them, tightening that grip on towards them. So, I mean, if the King and me, they don't come in too aggressively, they could maybe be losing quite a few teammates in this process because Ultra 6, they've got themselves set up in a beautiful defensive angle as well. But there we go. Hulk now swoops in, finds the shot into the side there of No Brainer just to try and even out those scales. But now this is where we wait to see out of the team there from Fear is going to try and push into this angle.
Exactly. So now having taken down that player basically gives Hulk more confidence, and he's trying to just get that player close to him down as he chases down Lanes, but with the reload, ooh, he's still able to take him down. DJs is just left with Mullions, and at a particular point in time, I did feel like this was going to go the way of the guys from 6, but yeah, you never know how this particular fights go down, and yeah, they were able to turn things around. So will Mullins push up onto this one and try to get that squad wipe, or will he just retreat away from this fight? I think, I mean, being in this position, I think I would rather just retreat and try to get that placement points if I can. But it doesn't look like he's planning on doing that. He probably has the skill to yeah, perform that squad wipe. Who knows?
Especially with Hulk now positioned up on the roof. Oh! Just leaning into that shot. A little bit of an air punch as he jumps off of the roof. Of course, that is exactly expected. A celebratory punch coming in there. And of course, Fear managing to turn that whole fight around in their own favor. Beautiful retaliation side there, but of course, as you can see, the zone is over towards that eastern side. Quite a big chunk of it is in the water, so we already have that limitation on the playable area for the team. So I'm curious to see where these teams are going to try and rotate into and which positions they're going to try and defend.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is going to be a tough one for most of these teams as the portions within the zone are already occupied. You can see the only free spots right there is right now around Mansion, Lipovka, Milta, Farm, and all those areas. There are already teams sitting down in those positions, including Rosehawk. So as teams like Sincerity, BC now begin to rotate in alongside with Fear and 4KT. They're definitely going to get into some trouble. So it's interesting to see how they find those good spots and what decisions they take getting into the zone.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, as you can see on that mini map up in the top right corner, we've got a few teams now hard on the heels here of the players from Fear as they now start to make their way in towards the east to get their butts back in towards the zone. So I agree. It's going to be interesting to see where these teams situate themselves and of course how they try to defend those positions. We have that blue zone closing in. As we can see, the players here from Fear, they are still 1.3 kilometers away from that zone, so quite a bit of distance still for them to cover to make it up into the zone successfully. So many other teams already situated within that zone, but now of course As you can see, just to the south there of here, we've got the players from Aphelion Apex starting to move up almost alongside them.
Well, are we
Right
going to see a
on the edge
drive-by?
of
Are we
zone.
going to see a drive-by from them?
It's going to be tough, I can tell you that.
They're dangerously close. But I think they're just going to wave bye to each other and just be like, hey, bye-bye, see you later. You know, Me's in a buggy,
Could
so
be.
he can definitely not, you know, shoot back at them. But the guys from God now sending out, you know, some shots over to the guys from Outsiders as they try to rotate into the zone.
Ooh. Just trying to get those shots. I mean, the players here from Euphoric Gods, they are positioned right there, just in and around that school area. A nice rush that we saw coming there from the Outsiders. Just flying straight by, not really stopping for anything. They're pushing for that positioning within the zone as this first phase is, of course, now about to come to an end. A really good position that we see them in, but of course, that zone shifts up once again over towards the east, moving away from this region. I'm curious to see where it exactly is that they're going to try and relocate to, because if the zone shifts in their favor, this is a really strong compound to hold.
Yeah, exactly. But if it doesn't, I mean, they could regret not getting a better position. And that's why, you know, exactly as you said, they've decided to, you know, just take this position right here on the hill. It probably is a better position for them to rotate out from. And then scout other team positions. So yeah, that's definitely what they're trying to do. Yeah. The way teams are situated in this particular match, we still got about 14 teams with 55 people alive. As the zone is beginning to compress, it's going to be rough within the next zone as they start to rotate. We would see a lot of teams drop quite quickly. So yeah, it's curious to see what the next zone does.
Of course, the Outsiders here trying to not overextend themselves just yet. We've got a few teams rotating up in the distance as we saw there, and then of course we're trying to land those hits into the side of them. But as you mentioned, 14 teams, 55 players still alive. It is going to be pretty tough as we move in towards those later phases, especially now with the third phase about to come on in. That blue zone for the second phase about to start closing up. So yeah, we're definitely waiting to see where the next zone will be taking the teams. And I'm pretty sure the teams that are already positioned in the zone, they'll have a much easier time defending those positions as the remaining teams try to rotate in and find a good spot. And of course, the players there for the Young Thundercats now just up ahead, trying to evade the shots. But Shecky boy, just lays the hitting in with the hits there.
He gets one onto elimination. As you see right there, the Citizens also getting into a little bit of that action right there on the kill feed. But domination without support, just getting pounded and pounded by Hound, and he definitely wants to get that kill point. Is he going to drive his vehicle all the way there? It does look like he's really thirsty for that one.
Maybe that was more of a tactical play, of a super aggressive shot, but you also see now the players there from the Black Clovers just rotating up in front of them. Hounds actually, yeah, he pushed his vehicle over all the way, finishing off the head, using up any additional ammo to do exactly that. So well done. A bit of a cocky play that we had there, but either way, it was still well executed. But now as we move over towards that far eastern side, I mean, here we go. The players from Black Clover now just taking up a position just on the outskirts of the power station.
Yeah, exactly. So different teams now making their way into several spots within the zone and claiming their territory, just marking it, you know, right now. And yeah, it's interesting to see how several teams now begin to fight, you know, close quarter, and it's getting to that point of the game.
Yep, definitely is, and things already starting to heat up. As you can see, the team there now just suffering a few hits as they find their way on through. The team from Spaza 6 now, of course, getting hit here by the side of NFxUNIQUE. Romeo, wherefore art thou? He's right there. He's bleeding out. Where's the rest of the team? Waiting to see if they'll come in and try and rescue him.
Where's my Juliet? I need some help. All right, so are we going to see these guys push onto them, or they're just going to be friendly neighbors? Yeah. It does look like they're just going to be friendly neighbors and just respect themselves from a distance and just put out those long distance shots, which could change at any particular moment in time. It does look like Spaza has, gotten the hint and decided to just move away from here. Little bit of panic right there. Oh my goodness.
Schizo.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame Schizo for that. I would also rather just get out of that vehicle and start running with a glitch. It is a bit on the rough side, but of course now all the teams are trying to squeeze into position. You can see the players here from Blank Legion. Bob, we've got him right here on the edge of prison, and another team moving in right behind them. So it's going to be a race to see who's the first one to get in as the outsiders come with a nice follow-up right on the heels there of Blank Legion. So maybe we could see them getting pinned down over East Prison, because sometimes it is a difficult position to actually get out of, especially with the zone like we have right now.
Whew. And definitely from the zone, you can see like different guys now trying to rotate, get into those spots. You have Blank Legion and the outsiders both in prison. 4KT is also trying to rotate in and get their spots. So yeah, we're gonna see a lot of teams clashing right now. Just meeting each other at different territories. But who knows? Are the guys from outside is going to push onto Blank Legion as they've lost one of the players, Detective. He's already down. So it's a 3-man squad versus a 4-man squad from the guys from outsiders. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how this one plays out. If can they turn things around against the guys from outsiders, or will they be able to just clear that team in prison? Who knows? The fight for territories
It's going
has
to be
begun.
interesting, definitely. But one thing that I'm waiting to still see is how the players from Undisputed are going to play this round. We haven't seen anything really come in from them just yet. At the moment, they are at the top of that leaderboard. And for the time being, they're taking a bit more of a calculated approach to this game. But in the meantime, we see the players here from NFxUNIQUE exchanging those heads still with the outsiders. Shaky Boy now coming up just on the side there of that wizard tower, trying to send the nades up towards Keish. But up comes the rest of the outsiders now, just applying that extra bit of pressure. But Zeri, with a beautiful off-angle position there, could cause quite a bit of damage onto the side of the outsiders.
The guys from outsiders now need to get their heels on and push up onto that particular spot and begin to take over the position from these guys from NFxUNIQUE. But who knows how it's gonna play. But crashing onto that building, it does look like they do want to push him and just get that kill and take them down one by one. They have Hound has Fitz, who's in that small building just on lockdown. Oof. And RRR, or I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I'm just gonna go.
We can just call him Pirate.
Yeah.
Arr, it's him. Getting pushed. I mean, Orisa here as well. Not trying to tend to the wounded as the rest of the squad from NFxUNIQUE now come in to try and find that squad wipe. Of course, they've also suffered a few hits in the process. As you can see, Keish about to bleed out, about to succumb to the injuries. But now FaZe about to get rest up. But here we go. Zist now still pushing in. Or is that 21st? Either way, it is going to be spicy. Now here, the outsiders. This Shaky Boy trying to regain a little bit of health before pushing further into this engagement. But down goes yet another player now from the Natural Killers. They are so excited. The jump shots.
It was so close to getting the final one. Outsiders going out right there to the guys from NF. And at a particular point in time, it felt like outsiders did have the upper hand with one more guy from NF. And if the two players from outsiders had just pushed him at that particular point in time, they could have won that fight. But then, I don't know, they just decided to just waste a bit of time. And yeah, that's what happens within PUBG Mobile. You waste a second and you can just turn around.
Yeah, anything can happen at a moment's notice. And of course, now we see the players here from Aphelion Apex making their way through the northern part of that zone. But of course, right there alongside them, we've got the players coming in from Sincerity. Our team currently sitting in second place on that leaderboard. Fear also now trying to find their own entry point into the south of the zone. So many knocked players just up ahead of them. But of course, looking at Prison, things are looking so tough with such a large number of players in that vicinity.
Exactly, and this is definitely what you expect, from just taking a look at the zone. There were a lot of teams already sitting in good position. So while teams are trying to rotate in, to find those spots, it's extremely difficult going from one spot to another. You may lose a couple of teams trying to rotate in, and you can see Fear is also suffering from that, but they were able to get that revive on. As you can also see the guys from Citizen just edging it, holding that position right there. They got Broco close to them. They got Fear not too far away from them, and yeah, it could just pop off at any particular moment with 11 and his crew just taking a look at the various teams right there from the air. It's a good position to be in.
Yeah, definitely. And of course now, the Citizens just holding on to the edge of the zone. We have the players from Fear right there alongside them. A few more hits now finding its way in that kill feed. But of course, the Citizens are trying to spread themselves out, trying to see how much information they can gather on the teams in the vicinity. But of course, we have a few nades not going exactly where they would have wanted to go. As you can see there, Mr. Pro Potato messing up that nade ever so slightly. But of course now, Dammy still keeping a very watchful eye on the side right here where we see the rest of the players from Fear now positioned.
Ooh, just take a look at that zone now shifting. It's going to make it really difficult for this particular teams. As you can see, Hall getting a knock right there onto Pro Potato and is now left to 11, but the zone doing a lot of damage to Hawk. I do think that Pro should just get that revive on, and yeah, it's a really, really tough one for Fear. Fighting outside the zone and Dami able to get that sweet, lovely kill point.
Well, they've got one more player to go, then we will be fearless, and that is exactly what we could be seeing anytime soon, as Me also now gets knocked out. So the players there from Fear, I assume, is down to only one player. You see also now the players there from Spaza finding a few more shots, but up comes Sneaks, stepping up right into the engagement here with Aphelion. But of course, now they're hugging the edge of that ridge line. Muffin now trying to provide that additional support layer there on the side. But of course, that nade comes in. The rest of the squad here from Sincerity to spread out and to corner the players there from Aphelion. But Aphelion also now just making their numbers work in their favor. An aggressive send onto the side of Muffin. Down she goes, but they blow up their own vehicle.
Oh my goodness, the guys from Apex just coming in like Bandetta Dang in that one and just taking out two guys from Sincerity. Wow, this is definitely going to upset the leaderboard.
Of course, there's still some hope.
And her partner just decided, you know what, we're out of here. We're out of here.
There we go, a bit of a crash landing as the players there from Apex now come moving in, trying to gain an entry point in the side of that zone. As you can see now, so many players just spread out through the zone. The players, of course, now from Rain from Hell trying to defend their compound. They were here first, trying to ward off the players there from Apex, saying, you will not get in here. We will defend it with everything we've got. But of course, we also see the lone survivor there for Citizens trying to squeeze in, trying to find their own little space in the zone. And of course, these compounds are highly contested.
We also see some action going down between the guys from UAE and 4KT right there. And yeah, this is a lot of content for guys who are on the top of that leaderboard. And remember what I said in the beginning, if we can take out the guys at the top right now, it definitely change our things, as Sin Respect is also in a whole lot of trouble getting fire right there from Madara. Is that Madara or Madara 4? I don't know.
Let's go with Madara.
I'm just gonna go with Madara. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. Lame joke of the day. Done and dusted. But now, 9 teams remaining. We just saw the players there from UAE getting eliminated. We see the squad here from 4KT still positioned over on the cliffs there of Prison as they try to move on closer. Spaza also holding up Blank Legion, trying to gain a way out of this position. As you see Bob now just letting loose on the competition, finding those heads in towards getting knocked out by Coco in the process. But they are now right there on the edge. Those laser hits coming in. 4KT, as well as the players here from Rain, applying that pressure. 9 teams, 21 players. man, it is going to be so tough.
I think that position that 4KT has is definitely up that hill if they can, most especially take out Spaza ball. Ooh, lovely one from the guys of AE, returning that fire there. And but Charlotte, man, just going into that building and just being like, man, who are you, man? Just taking the two guys out. You were in a whole lot of trouble with Zero, their last guy. As Coco is the last hopeful for his team. Can he get that squad wide? We're down to 6 teams. The guys from 4KT having like a really good position right now. They're edging it, but they have the Spaza guy just down to Coco, just down to one more guy. And who knows, could he get that squad wide? Could he get that squad wide? Or just take them down? But 4KT needs to be careful of the guys from Rain, who still have a position within the zone and can spot them, from the angle where they're at. So yeah, it's a good position they have, but Rain might be that team to give them a whole lot of trouble. But Coco has dragged his team all the way down to 3rd place, so at least that's good placement points for his team.
Yep, now as we move into this final zone, it is the 2 remaining teams. It is Rain from Hell up against the players there from 4KT. Of course, now 4KT already really well positioned within that zone. Rain from Hell sitting on 3 players. Both teams, in fact, sitting on 3 players. But Storm now just getting lasered there by the side of Shylock, as they still have that compound. We are waiting in anticipation to see where this next phase is going to take us. And it moves in favor of Rain from Hell. 4KT now has quite the challenging zone to find an entry point into. But of course, they are still going to try and make their way on up. As you see, Storm rather, finding that hit into with Shylock. 2 players now remain for Rain. It is Argus, it is Neon, and now we see 4KT just rushing on in. They had that first knock. They come crashing into the side of the building right underneath the players here from Rain. Of course, now in true PUBG fashion, they move in, trying to clear the first building. Argus jumping out the window, getting around, trying to evade the shots for the time being, but of course trying to position himself in such a way that he can make a play, but it doesn't work. Down he goes. Rain now sitting on actually only 1 player, as Shylock is still knocked. Neon not being able to get in to pull that res off, but 4KT now full sending in all their power they can. They've sent that Molly up the window. Neon getting caught in it. Will he be able to make it out of this one alive? Just evading the hits, but he's on the balcony. Up they come, and down goes the players there from Rain from Hell. 4KT clutches the chicken dinner, and with that, a very lovely 12 kills.
12 kills to the name. You can see the guys from 4KT getting that winner chicken dinner, but Rain did do good for themselves. I mean, I feel like they might have had a chance to stop 4KT having the zone to themselves, taking 1 or 2 guys before they crashed the building. But as soon as 4KT crashed that building, it was done and dusted. It was down to just it was a 3v2, and it was down to just 2 guys. So yeah, they capitalized on that and got that winner with a chicken dinner. But kudos to Coco dragging his team all the way down to 3rd place right there. And yeah, that's how
Guys,
these games go.
I just want to say something very quickly. I was listening to DK right there, and he literally called out that the zone favored Rain, and 4KT had a very, very difficult rotation. Now, watching that game, I was like, why wouldn't Rain just literally camp the windows and stop them from coming in? But the pull with the vehicle, the rush, that was just a masterclass of taking a team on in the final circle. That was amazing. Big shout out to 4KT all the way from Ghana, the winners, winner chicken dinner of the first game in today's PUBG Mobile at the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Northern Gaming. Guys, that was my highlight for today. DK, what was your highlight for this particular match today?
Whew, that's a difficult one to answer. There were so many fights, but I definitely think that that bit of a rush that we saw there near the end, where we just had those teams full sending in onto the side of the players from Sincerity. That was just absolutely amazing. But of course, now looking at the standings rather, we got the players there from 4KT up in pole position, 27 points. Rain from Hell coming into second place there on 21 points. NFxUNIQUE finishing in third place, a very well-deserved position over on 17 points. Spaza 6 also coming into fourth place, then finishing off on 12 points. The Euphoric Gods over in 5th on 10. We got Aphelion Apex over in 6th place on 6 points. Blank Legion also on 6 points, but of course in 7th place. Then we have the players from Fear over in 8th place with those 5 kills, awarding them 5 points in total.
Yeah, also we got YT in 9th place with 1 placement point, but getting themselves 3 kills. We got Citizen Gaming with 1 placement point and 2 kills. We got UAE, well, I expected to actually get more placement points in this particular game with 2 total points. We got Black Clover with 2 points. We got Ultra 6 with 1 kill point. We got Outsiders with 1 kill point. We got Sincerity, who are high up the overall leaderboards with just 1 placement points, and we got NF with none. Wow.
Listen, guys, from what I'm seeing so far, you really can't tell who is going to be topping this leaderboard. With Sincerity having 2 winner chicken dinners yesterday and coming out of today's first game with only 1 point, it is just so obvious that this league is ripe for the take. Anyone, it is still early days. Everybody feeling out themselves, and I'm super excited to see what's coming next. But before into our next part, we're gonna go into break, and then we'll be right back with more Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nodwing Gaming. Welcome back to season 3 of the Umzansi Esports League. We are playing PUBG Mobile today. We have just witnessed one team get a winner chicken dinner on the Erangel map. We are moving to Sanhok now. I'm here, Dr. Sid, with DK and Actfire, and we are bringing you some of the hottest PUBG Mobile action on the African continent and indeed the world. Now, firstly, before we get into the next map, we want to take a look at the updated standings when we take the teams who have just played in Group A versus D and juxtapose them against the overall standings. DK, do you want to take us through this one?
Yeah, of course, as you can see there, the players from Rain from Hell coming in on 67 points. No chicken dinner, but no need. They are quite consistent with those placement points, and of course, that is why we see it look the way it does. The players there from Undisputed AE getting moved down into second place on 63 points. The players there from Slime 4KT now, of course, moving in to third, as you can see, on 60 points. Then we've got the team there from Sincerity Esports over in fourth place. 2 chicken dinners under the belt, but 56 points in a total. Of course, the players from Zero Tolerance Skills over in fifth place on 45. We've got the Immortals over in sixth place on 44. Then, of course, the players there from G3 Temper over in seventh place on 37 points. And then we have the Outsiders Official in 8th place on 35 points.
Cool. So we're gonna there are some errors on the scoreboard leaderboard and it will be updated. But so far we see NFxUNIQUE, Spaza 6, Drogons, My Citizens Gaming up and down in 12 positions, Pan African from Somalia, Not Gaming, Natural Killers, Euphoric Gods rounding up the top 16. We will be moving on to the next page while we are waiting for the teams to load up into Erangel. In number 17, Black Clover, YT, Young Thundercats, Aphelion Apex, Influence Rage Africa, Lag Esports, BBC, Rainbow Six, Madagascar, and Fear. The table is looking lit. It is being shaken up. And as you know, these teams that are playing today have an advantage over the guys in Group B and C who will be playing next Friday.
So far, those leaderboards are looking pretty bright, as of course we're getting ready to move into the next page rather. Almost said the last page, but then I realized there's still one more to go, which is then, of course, the last one. We got the players there from Comfy Cartel over in 25th place on 10 points. We got Gamers Unite Nations over in 26, also sitting on 10 points. We got the players there from Ultra 6 over in 27th place on 8. We got Blank Legion also sitting on 8 points, but over in 28th place. Then, of course, the players there from Nibble Esports over in 29th on 2, as well as the team from Toxic Esports in 30th, also sitting on 2 points. So this leaderboard is looking pretty tough, especially in those first 2 sections of it. But as we move on down, we have a little bit of that separation starting to come in. So I'm very excited to see just how close these teams will be after the next match.
And for me, I just want to say, Actfire, some of the teams that we're looking out for. I mean, I know Pachi and DK spoke about the team Gamers Unite Nations. They aren't doing very well in these first games. We're expecting them to be in a much better position, but they're not. And like we also mentioned, this table and the way the game is going is very difficult to call out. Now, Actfire, obviously, off the action you've just seen, who are you tipping on the Sanhok map, which as we know, is a small, tighter map, which causes teams to switch up their gameplay? Who are you rooting for in this next game?
I'm definitely rooting for a team like Rain Gaming. Sanhok games are usually close quarters, and they've shown, from the kill points that they've had, they're not afraid of, getting into fights. So they're definitely gonna get into so many different fights and get those sweet kill points. I mean, no chicken dinner, no problem for them. They do just want to get get into those fights as much as possible. So yeah, I'm definitely looking out for them.
Well, I'm hoping I'm going to be seeing a push like Slime 4KT did in the last match. And we are in the plane, in the air, and we are ready to fly into Sanhok. My name is Dr. Sid. I'm going to be leaving you in the very capable hands of these two gentlemen who've been letting you
Let's
guys
go.
know the action and giving you the analysis on the PUBG Mobile in the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nordwind Gaming. And just before I go, if you aren't following Nordwind Gaming on their social media, you need to be doing that now, because you want to stay informed about everything that's going to be happening. Now, I do know that the flight has been delayed by about 60 seconds, so I'm going to ask another question. Why is Citizens Gaming doing so badly? BK, what's your analysis?
You know, it could be quite a few things, right? Definitely could be quite a few things, right? So first thing I'd be looking at is, well, drop locations. You know, like where they choose to drop. Is it in a spot where they're comfortable, where they know how to play from there? You know how to rotate out from that? Or they may be trying something a little bit different just to they keep the opponents guessing. I don't know. It could be a number of things. But let's just say, you know, they didn't have their coffee just yet. Let's go with that one.
I'll take that one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me checking out and leaving you with these two gentlemen to walk you through the play-by-play in Game 2 of the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nordwind Gaming. This is PUBG Mobile.
All right, definitely.
Thank you very much there.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Seed, for that one. We're on to a Sanhok game where we're definitely going to see a lot of action popping up from the various teams, as we do expect to see a lot of snaking here and there, close quarter fights. So, DK, how do you think this one is going to go as we see 4KT landing in Pochinki, ready to challenge? Sorry, landing in boot camp right there, ready to challenge any team used to Erangel.
Pochinki? I mean, if they drop in Pochinki, they're going to be safe. They're going to be safe until tomorrow. I mean, nothing to worry about. No teams challenging them whatsoever. So, yeah, Pochinki is definitely a very drop in this particular match.
Yeah,
you know.
definitely safe.
That's what I got to go with. But
all right.
Looking at the rest of the teams on how they've dropped, it's definitely going to be interesting, especially with the teams dropping very close over towards Camp Bravo. We've got the young Thundercats and the players here from Spaza. As you can see, both teams dropping a little bit of hot. Not overly so, but it is hot. Both teams, of course, still having that option to rotate out if they so choose. But of course, there's also still that opportunity there for them to try and push in, get a little bit aggressive in this early game, and potentially find in a few points, maybe a few kill points through that.
Yeah, definitely. As you know, that the guys from SG, Kotio Coco, did have a good game and get those good placement points in the last one. They do want to probably have a better game and not go out quite quickly. So yeah, it might be a cautious gameplay for them where they just decide to rotate out of this one. Who knows how they're going to play, but I'll definitely love to see some action coming from them early on. So let's see how they play against Adonis and Co.
It's going to be spicy action. Hopefully that be seen coming in from these teams. But of course now, both teams taking a bit of a more calculated approach. We're not seeing any foolish aggression just yet. They're not trying to overcommit to a rotation just yet. Just playing the field, seeing where the opponents are, if they could potentially spot any of those rotations, those movements, and then hopefully strike into that potential weakness they could maybe see from that. So, yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye on them, but of course, we just noticed there that we don't have the full squad from Young Thundercats here. We've got one of their players where, so will that work in their favor? Will it be detrimental to them? We don't know just yet, but of course, we'll be finding out pretty soon.
Yeah, Illusion and Booksy need to be really careful, because if they do get one player taken down, then it's a full team from SG versus them, as Coco right there is taking some hits. So yeah, they need to be very careful and not get into a situation where it's a 4v2. Yeah, but they're both being really cautious right now, as they should be.
Mm.
But I like to see a full-on attack coming in. But who knows how it goes? You can see Romeo has sort of like retreated. I think he did retreat, so but he's coming in right now. So yeah.
Yeah, Romeo definitely moving back in to try and fortify the numbers in favor here of the players from Spaza. But now, we did see a few shots coming in, and of course, the players there from Young Thundercats, they've also now had Superior rotate back in towards them. So now both squads are back up to strong numbers. But this is where we wait to see whether or not we're going to have them push up aggressively, but also take into account they are not in the zone, so they can't hang around here for too long. So I think a good play here would be is like if you don't see a clear line of sight, disengage and get in zone.
Yeah,
Because later on, things are going to get pretty hairy, and if they find themselves in the blue zone, it might become quite costly as they progress through the phases.
yeah, exactly. I would definitely hope to see the guys from YT just retreating away from this one. As the guys from Spaza are now pretty much just trying to get in close. But you don't want to stay in a fight in Sanhok for too long, especially because of third parties. You know, Sanhok is very notorious for those sweet third parties coming in from those other teams. But yeah, you don't want to linger on a fight for too long. So if this one drags on, I think yeah, the guys from YT or S should just retreat away from this particular fight. But it doesn't look like they're planning on doing that. Doesn't look like that's the plan so far.
They look pretty fixed on their decision there to try and push in and get those hits into the side of each other. I mean, Young Thundercats holding on, beautiful positioning there by Illusion as he bounces on Schizo. Schizo managing to evade the shots, but of course now up comes Illusion rushing straight on inside. Gets a knock, but also gets knocked in the process. Schizo now very low on health. We of course have Horus and Romeo right here to accompany him in that position as they now quickly try and get that race going. But the rest of the Young Thundercats are pushing in. Oh, just coming in to say hi as the shots start flying in, and of course quite the bit of carnage now erupting onto the side of the Young Thundercats as there's still one player remaining, but that is Superior. He is way off on the back end there, but now starting to move in. Will he be able to make it in time, or will we see the players there from Spaza managing to get their wounded players back up into fighting shape once again?
Yeah, definitely. It's the guys from YT have three guys to contend with right now, and yeah, it's pretty much like a 1v3 as the guys from Spaza have been able to get their players back up. Yeah, who knows? Who knows how this one goes? You know, Superior may be able to get that, but yeah, Romeo getting that final kill. They did lose one player, which you don't want to do at the beginning of games like this, but yeah, they won that fight. Good kill points for them, and yeah, they can then go on, you know, to get that good placement in this game. Yeah.
Well, that was definitely one of those situations where we saw Romeo running around going, "Wherefore art thou?" He put the shots in, and with that, you know, claimed that lovely squad wipe. 4 kills, 4 easy counts are the points on the board for them. But now we still have 14 teams remaining. The players here from UAE now just making their way through the fields, trying to find a good position to move themselves through. We've got a few players just down below, and of course the heads start coming in as the side of Aphelion starts striking fear into the side here of the players from UAE. But as we know, UAE are really capable of holding their own, and now we wait to see just how they'll be able to accomplish that against the side of Aphelion Apex. Yes, we can, and of course we can see the teams now moving up still once again. The players here from Black Clovers also making a little bit of a rotation there, a little bit of aggressive rotation. And of course now the outsiders just lying in wait, keeping a watchful eye on the players there from the NFxUNIQUE team. You can see them just off in the distance over towards the northeastern side there. But a really good spread coming out here from the outsiders.
but it could be really dangerous if a team begins to pick them off. But yeah, at this level, they definitely do know what they're doing as they're trying to make their way into several good positions. But it's always difficult in a map like Sanhok to get those really, really, really good um, positions because you never know where a team is stalking you from. You know. Yeah.
Of course, you can see some of the Black Clovers there dropping down into the drink. Narcos now coming in with a bit of a well, crocodile approach there. Just trying to find that way on over, that way on through. The rest of the team here from Nuclear Fallout still holding their position. Of course, that zone centering up very nicely in and around the trifecta region. So where these teams are going to try push on into, as they of course still have access to all three islands. But of course that blue zone is closing in. If the zone moves over in towards that northwestern side, up in towards the Chungus Mountains, that is where things are going to get pretty difficult for these teams to fight through. But of course, so many more teams all still converging down onto that trifecta split that we have.
Ooh, and the guys from Rain Gaming popping on shots onto the guys from BC and taking down one of them right now. They have Rain Gaming loves positions like this, you know, getting those kills is what they've been known for so far. I mean, comparing them to previous seasons, what do you think they have improved about their gameplay so far?
Well, in general, we normally see things like this, the overall, game awareness. That's just the knowledge that comes in that greatly assists the teams, and of course also rotations. They've had a lot of time to work on rotations, see what works for them, what doesn't work. Of course, also then potentially planning on how they can apply that against the teams that they are going up with. So because it's important to know how your opponents rotate, where they like to frequent, and of course how you can best counter that.
Yeah,
So waiting to see now exactly if that will be the case.
True. You can see 4K now moving up right there. And one of the things I have noticed about the different teams so far is because a lot of new teams have come on board and are pretty much just upsetting things. Like we saw in the previous game, Apex just go in all the way to Sincerity, who is like way up on the leaderboard, and just take them out of the game. There's no team you can underestimate right now. And a lot of teams are pretty much trying to get used to all of that, to how, all these teams who are just coming on up play and rotate. So that sort of is creating like a strange dynamics, in the early season. Maybe that would change as time goes on, and they all get used to each other's gameplay.
Essentially, it comes down to figuring out the meta for the particular season, just figuring out what works, what doesn't, and of course, how to best counter the players from the opposing teams. As we see the players there from Apex now coming in with a few more shots onto the side of Blank Legion, but Outsiders coming in with a really good positioning in towards that waterway. But now as we move closer towards By None, we still see the players here from Apex and Blank Legion still there side by side, cheek by cheek. And we wait to see now if the players from Apex are going to try and bounce onto the side of Blank Legion, because we see them moving up pretty aggressively. And they have a bit of an interesting split coming in between them from Apex.
Yeah, Blank Legion is one of those teams who came up all the way from Inconsi, but it does seem like they've not had an easy time so far, within the Umzansi, and they're still getting used to things, and I mean, I'm not gonna. It does feel like they're kind of being bullied so far, while they're still trying to get used to things. But I'm sure things will pick up from them. As Sleeper Knox gets that knock, it's down to just one guy left. Oof, man, it is rough.
It is a very hairy Bob, of course. Now the last remaining player here for Blank Legion, keeping that position just on the opposite end of the road. The players here from Apex, of course, now moving in with their numbers, just taking control of this compound. So this is where things gets pretty tough for Blank Legion. If Bob has a safe way to rotate out of there, I would definitely advise him to try that. Maybe just trying to relocate to stay in this game a little while longer. But with the addition of 4KT up on the hill right there behind them, it's going to be a really tough call. The Outsiders also not too far away either, so it's going to be a really tricky position to get out of.
Yeah, it's a very tricky position because you could be running away from one team and running right next to another fire right there. So I mean, the best decision probably is for him just to stay put. I'm not sure the guys from Aphelion know he's alone. I mean, they've taken down two guys. They probably think it's two guys there. So they're taking it quite cautious on their end, also. So yeah, I mean, another interesting team is also Apex. You know, whenever we see them get into, they're not high on that leaderboard. You know, same thing with Gun. But whenever we see them get into fights, it does seem like they're always winning their fights that they take on. They do seem like a very aggressive, good team. But what's keeping them down that leaderboard for now?
Well, we do see them being quite aggressive when they do get into an engagement. I think
Yeah.
it's sometimes just the way that the engagement goes. The team that they go up against sometimes just has a little bit of a better positioning, and of course then that doesn't really work out in their favor, and that is where we then see the team falling down. But of course finish off really strong on those skill points. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they'll be able to work on that, improve that positional play, and just work, just work it into the overall approach that they have. But now, of course, we see this next phase popping on over and a little centering up really nicely over towards boot camp. So this is going to be such a tough zone to fight in, as we got so many teams still remaining, 14 teams. But of course, not a lot of positions for them really to occupy.
Yeah, exactly. Remember what we said in the first game, where it did look like Rain Gaming had their position and had the upper hand, but it does look like now 4KT does have that position. They are encountering also the guys from Outsiders and have taken down two Hounds down. And oof. Yeah, Pronto able to get that lobby with Andrew also getting one down. All right, looking at this particular fight here, you got the guys from Hawk and Spaza again. Coco taking on some fights, but able to dodge them, coming right there from Hawk. Ooh.
I mean,
The guys
Spaza
from
now
Spaza, yeah.
they're trying to play this ridge line. They're trying to get into good position, trying to see if they can secure themselves a little while longer. Only two of them remain, but of course, so many numbers, so many players still in the vicinity. As you can see, that of course being the players from Fear, just to name one of the teams that we have. So things could get pretty tough, especially now that we are moving towards our fourth phase. That zone is going to start closing down, getting smaller and smaller. The players there from Ultra 6, or rather Spaza 6 now starting up the fights there. Oh, this is Ultra 6, and here we go. We've got Mojo and Miyagi. Miyagi, of course, is going to be the one to teach us exactly how to do this. He's going to be the Grand Master, explaining everything in detail. We've got one player just down below over in the drink, trying to make a safe exit from that region, trying to secure a spot further down in towards the south. But of course, things can still go either which way, as we see Hamadi now just waiting for that zone to do something.
This is some real struggle for placement points right there. As you can see, he's just going down the water, just trying and struggling to get that cool placement points. And yeah, he may be lucky. He may be lucky. I'm going to keep an eye out for this guy, even on the kill feed, to see if he does survive, long enough.
Yeah, well, they've gone from a 4-leaf clover down to only 1-leaf clover, as we see Hamadi now still in the drink there. But of course, now they need to try and think of a way to get in towards the zone. That goes for both these teams. Hamadi here from Black Clover, and of course the players there from Ultra 6 that we have just up the top. So they need to plan on a play to get into that zone. And of course, now looking over towards the players here from Spaza 6, you can see them also just making their very own way in towards the zone, trying to find an entry point from the south. The players there from Undisputed, of course, just up ahead of them as Coco hits another nail into one of the players. And a really strong play coming in from Spaza, even though they're only sitting on 2 remaining players.
These are the moments that basically change games. As you can see right there in the middle of the circle, you got 4KT not too far away from Rain Gaming again, but they're both just holding their position within that center as they begin to take out different teams who are coming into that spot. Coco and his compatriot, Romeo, need to find a way to make it into the zone as they're trying to just rotate in. You still got Aphelion Apex with a full team, now trying to make their way in. And since it's not too far away from them, they need to be really careful. But it does look like the front is pretty clear. What do you think, based on their positions, is going to, are we going to see an upset, for KT and Rain Gaming? Or you think, it's just going to come down to those two at the end of the day?
I can tell you it's going to be a pretty tough one to make an assessment on that, as we can't really see just yet where the teams are currently situated within that zone. But what I can tell you is that the teams that have already found a good spot in that are able to fortify that, and the defended, they stand a really good fighting chance against any of the teams who are still to try and find a spot in the zone. We see a few shots now finding their way on through. The players here from the Citizens trying to gain entry on into the zone, coming in from the side here. We've got Coco just up ahead, who manages to evade the shots coming in from Rick. But of course now 11 gets knocked out in the process. So Spaza still playing a very strong game, and of course causing such a big amount of damage onto the side of the players here from Citizens. But now with that, Romeo gets taken out. It is now up to Coco for the side of Spaza. But of course, we still see the rest of the Citizens team now just spread out on their way towards the zone. But right alongside them, we have the team there from Fear. So quite a few things can still happen from this positioning.
But just taking a look at the kill feed right there, you see Aphelion Apex versus 4KT, those going at each other. Remember, I did tell you that the guys from Aphelion are not afraid to take on fights as much as possible. It's lovely to see the guys from Citizen being able to recover from that one at a particular point in time. I did think that they were going to get run down by the two players from SG, but they did hold their own. So yeah, but they need to make their way into the zone. This is a really tough zone to be outside.
Are not going to get easier from this point onwards, as we're still sitting on 12 teams alive, 37 players remaining. Several of these players all just scattered throughout the zone. The team here from Ultra 6, of course, now still just holding on to the edge of that cliff line. Right up ahead of them, we can see one of the players there from Rain from Hell. That, of course, being Argus, now quickly trying to recover a little bit of health. But that zone is now centered over towards Bootcamp. So this is going to make for a super interesting play, as all these teams now need to try and find a way in towards Bootcamp, but also do that safely.
Just take a look at the amount of teams. We got 33 people alive trying to make their way all into boot camp. This is going to be a bloody finish right here.
Oh, I mean, just look at the spread of teams up ahead. The players here from, Euphoric Gods now just getting ahead as they also try to push on in. But here we go, Mojo now making quick run, spots the opportunity just up ahead to find an easy kill. Not really taking the opportunity just yet, but of course now they're still trying to find that positioning, that angle to come on in from. The players here now from Euphoric Gods quickly trying to recover as much health as they can, trying to tend to their wounded. But this is where Bootcamp just gets lit on fire. So many teams trying to push in. Sinister getting hit in the process. Oh, the players here from Rain from Hell also feeling that pressure mounting, as we now have Shylock and Neon, the two remaining players here for Rain, who are also now trying to contest against the 6, and that is just up in the north. The rest of the teams also just positioned a little bit further down towards the south in Bootcamp itself, and it's going to be such a tough zone to fight in.
And Rain basically showing their force right there, taking down one team, moving on to the next one, fighting the guys from Euphoria, fighting the guys from 6, and taking on the guys from EX at the same time. They're definitely showing why they're in that top spot on the leaderboard. But yeah, it'd be nice to see how they do get out of this particular one. If they do win this fight.
NFxUNIQUE, of course, now coming in with quite a few shots there. That blue zone coming in brutal fashion, once again claiming the lives of some of these players. But now we see no brainer here. Trying to make that final play, and of course, oh, Andrew there from 4KT just striking into the side there of the players from NFxUNIQUE. But of course, now this fight is far from over. We have our final 3 teams, 9 players still alive. The players there from Rain from Hell now trying to make a rotation safely and securely into that position over towards bootcamp. 4KT, though, they look really, really strong in this position. They've been able to scatter themselves throughout the region here. And of course, they are able to gather so much information and just see where to try and rotate in from. Oh!
And having cleared out the teams that were in boot camp, they can now put their focus onto the teams that are trying to make their way in. Those teams have it. I mean, Rain definitely has a tough one for themselves as they are just outside the zone, and 4KT has the zone to themselves. I mean, this was the reverse in the last game. Yeah, if you do remember how it was, it did look like Rain had the spot, and 4KT came crashing in. So it's interesting to see if Rain can do the same thing and come in and get that good spot. Oh, if 4KT just closes out this particular game. Let's see how it goes. As Storm, Andrew, and Cole are just gonna just wait it out and pick them.
And I mean, that is a really good decision there from them. They know the players from Rain from Hell needs to come to them. So obviously they're going to try and stretch this out as long as they can, as we see those first few shots there from Bronto now finding its way on over. Aimer taking aim over on it towards that western side. Just waiting in ambush for the players from Rain from Hell to try and make their play. You can see Shylock now getting caught out in the blue zone. But of course, Neon tries to rush on in. Gets knocked in the process. And there they go. 4KT secures themselves that chicken dinner, and of course finishing it out with 18 kills.
18? That looks like, yeah, 18 kills to 4KT and a winner chicken dinner. That is 38 points to them alone. Jeez, I'm curious to see how this is going to affect the entire leaderboard, man. But just look at what Rain Gaming, I mean, 4KT, Rain, Sincerity, they're showing, I mean, it's no fluke that they're at those top positions within the leaderboard. They're still top 3 right here, still getting themselves good positions. I mean, wow.
Guys, this is mind blowing.
Guys, the intensity in these games are unparalleled to anything that I've ever seen before. And just to see the reverse of the situation from the Erangel map on Sanhok and having Rain be out in fighting the zone and also having to fight 4KT, but 4KT handled their position clearly, exactly what I would have thought that that the guys from Rain would have done in the last match. 4KT did it so well, watched the windows, made sure they were boxed out, and gate kept them from coming out of the zone. Let's take a look at the updated leaderboard. Whew. DK, do you want to talk us through this?
Yeah, there we go. There we have it. The players there from Slime 4KT coming in with a 30-point game. 33 points. What an amazing play that was there. But of course, we see the players there from Rain from Hell sitting in second place on 19 points. Sincerity finding themselves up in the top 3 once again. And of course, coming in on 13 points. The players from Spaza finishing off their game really, really strongly. The second highest kills for this match. And of course, coming in there with 10 kills. And that brings them up to a total of 11 total points. The players from Ultra 6 over in 5th place on 9 points. NFxUNIQUE 6th place coming in with 7 total points. Aphelion Apex in 7th place with 6 total points. And of course the players then from Fear finishing up in 8th place on a grand total of 5 points towards them.
Yeah, we also got Citizens with 2 points right there, finishing in 9th place. We got YT with just 1 kill point. We got Undisputed, who I'm really surprised about the performance today so far, just getting 1 placement points. We got Euphoric with 1 placement points. We got Outsiders with no points at all. We got Blank Legion with no points, and also NF with none. Wow, this has been pretty interesting. I mean, point to take out is the guys from Rain Gaming, getting getting themselves into those top placement points every single match. They may not be winning, but they're still being consistent alongside with 4KT. So it's interesting to see how they do within, the entire season. Yeah.
The season, like we said, there is a long road to go. And just in case people need to be updated, these 30 teams will compete for a place in the semifinals. And it is going to be amazing, a battle all the way through, as we can see. We have one more map tonight, and then the action continues next Friday. This is still the Umzansi Esports League, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. I'm Dr. Sid, here with DK and Actfire, and we will be right back after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Nordwing Gaming. It has been action-packed all day as we're in the PUBG Mobile tournament, and we have seen teams go head-to-head and toe-to-toe. It's been Rain and Slime 4KT coming away with back-to-back battles in the final circle. I'm here, Dr. Sid, with two amazing guys who are doing a super job getting you all the action as it happens in the PUBG Mobile tournament. It's DK and Actfire. Hey guys, how looking forward to the final match, Actfire?
Yeah, definitely. It's Miramar map. We're definitely going to see a lot of rotating in a lot of blown vehicles. I hope to see those. It's going to be action packed. Now teams have nothing to lose, so they're definitely going to go all out and get those fights. But I do definitely want to see the teams who have been consistent continue to now solidify the position of that leaderboard, especially teams like Rain Gaming, Sincerity, and 4KT.
So very quickly, before I get to you, DK, Act5, do you want to take us through the updated point system? Because I know some people had us call out a points distribution earlier on. You want to break down what the updated point system is. Could you just break that down for our viewers right now so everybody knows that why the leaderboard looks the way it does?
Sure, exactly. Let's take a look at it.
Okay, so basically, I'll open it up. So we've switched up the point system. In the first place gets 15 points, second place gets points, third place 10 points, fourth place 8, fifth place 6, sixth place 4, seventh place 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12th place all get 1 point each. That's for placement. Everybody below from 13 to 16 gets 0 points. And of course, the almighty kill point is still there for 1 point per kill. DK, it's the final map for the day. We come back on Friday. It's Miramar. You know, I know you have a good eye when it comes to calling out these maps and these winners. What teams should our viewers be looking out for in this final map?
I'm hoping to see the players from Undisputed AE step up on Miramar. All right. They've been having a tough few games in the previous 2 matches. I'm hopeful that in this match, we actually see them bring in that gameplay that we've seen on the first day. Because in the first day, they were able to find themselves at the top of that overall leaderboard. So, of course, you know, looking at that, there's no reason why they should be back there once again. So I'm hoping that this is the match in which they pull that off. But as you can see, this is our overall leaderboard as of right now. We've got the players there from Slime 4KT, 2 chicken dinners under their belt, sitting on a very comfortable 93 points. Rain from Hell over in second, sitting on 86 points. Then, of course, the players there from Sincerity Esports over in third place, also 2 chicken dinners, sitting on 69 points. Undisputed AE currently chicken dinner 64 points from Zero Tolerance over in 5th place on 45. The Immortals in 6 also with that chicken dinner over in 44 points. Spaza 6 currently in 7th place on 43. And then of course the players there from NFxUNIQUE sitting in 8th place on 39 points. So that is why I'm saying I really like to see the players there from Undisputed step up in this match and just catapult themselves back up into the chicken dinner.
I would really like to see the guys from Citizens Gaming catapult themselves up to the top 10 or the top 8. But looking at the second half of the table, we see G3 Temper with 37 points, Outsiders with 35, and of course Citizens Gaming with 28. Drogons with 26, Aphelion with 24, Pain Africa with 22, Not Gaming with 22, Natural Kills with 22. The bottom half of this table is really tight with literally no distance between 11th and 6th. So this final game is actually really important for anybody who thinks that they need to start putting pressure on the guys at the top. They need to be doing this now.
Yeah, and there are definitely a lot of teams.
Fire, what do you have to make of this other side?
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of teams that you expect to see, you know, higher up that leaderboard that are still at the bottom side. You still got Influence Rage, who you expect to see higher up that leaderboard in 21 position. You got Euphoria Gods in 17th with 22 points. You got Fear with 20 points, who have been battling now throughout this Umzansi. I mean, you can't say that they're a pushover. You got Black Clover in 20 points. You got White Sea. You got Influence Rage, who's a really tough team, with 18 points in 21 positions. You got Lag Esports with 17 points. You got Ultra 6 with 17 points, and BBC, who's also another really tough team. So it does seem like these guys are just coming against, very, very, very strong opponents. And yeah, you got Rainbow Six Madagascar with 16 points. You got Comfy Cartel, another really good team. And for me, which has been the most surprise, which is Gamers United Nations in 27th spot. I mean, we do know Gun with Nefme and the rest. Are a really strong team. They should be in that top five, but they haven't been playing as well. And you got Blank Legion, who's just come up all the way from Nkonsi, um, having a really tough time so far in that 28 position. So I mean, it's not been easy for some teams. There's been some surprises here and there. So I mean, seeing Gun in that position, I mean, Citizens is not doing so bad.
Yeah, hey. We'll take it. We'll take whatever we can. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the final map of the day. We are flying into Miramar, where I have now understood it's about long range. You have to be able to handle your sniper shots, get your vehicles, make sure you rotate properly, get yourself in a nice position so you don't get caught out in the open plains. Make sure you try to get some high ground. This is me giving pointers. I don't even play PUBG Mobile. But just by watching the Umzansi Esports League, I have so much experience and I understand the plays that need to happen. We're going to be heading to the action right now. But before we do so, I need to tell everyone watching, if you are not following Northern Gaming Africa on all their socials, you need to do so right now to stay updated with all the action from the Umzansi Esports League and all our other assets. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us get our parachutes on and get ready to land, because DK is about to tell me the best landing spot in his opinion on Miramar.
Ooh. All right, no pressure, no pressure. So, the best landing spot to go into. Wow. All right. It depends on the play style, obviously. Okay, that is the main deciding factor when you decide where to go. All right. Places, I can tell you where definitely, maybe not to go, but wow, where to go.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Wow. That is a really tough call to make. I mean, you've got such a big selection of spots that you can choose from, right? You can go into Los Leones, you can go into Chumacero, you can go into La Cobreria, you can, if you're feeling a bit risky, you can push it all the way up in towards Campo Militar if you really feel like it. But I mean, one particular space to go. Let's go with Picardo.
Let me add a variable. One space that you would land that would give you a high probability of getting good loot, and two, give you a favorable rotation to position you for a good end game scenario.
End game is really difficult to predict, but to meet most of that criteria, I would probably say Picardo, because it's smack dab center zone. You should be fairly safe. And even looking at this flight path, I mean, you can see that flight path is also just going straight over Picardo. So that's already a really good thing to point out there.
Yeah, let's see who goes to Picardo today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final map of the day. Miramar in the Umzansi Esports League PUBG Mobile. This is Season 3. I'm Dr. Sid, leaving you in the hands of Actfire and DK. You guys take it away. I can't wait to see who wins and gets the winner chicken dinner.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Seed. As we now get into the third game of the day, we're going to see several teams now picking their landing spots. I mean, DK, you've been watching these teams for quite a while. Do you think they do have their favorite choice of landing spots and they know how to respect each other's spots? Or, I mean, they just wing it when it comes to Miramar?
I definitely think they've got spots that they prefer to drop in, and especially those positions where you see them going on a more frequent basis. For instance, like we can see the players from Rain already pushing up in towards La Cabrera. A lot of teams go to where they feel comfortable. Now and again, you'll have one or two teams that they're feeling a bit risky. They'll try and go challenge some of the opposing teams and potentially maybe get them out of the game phases. But of course, you know, in general, these teams go to where they feel the most comfortable and where they know they can find a good, decent spot, a loot spot.
Exactly, definitely. I'm hoping to see a lot of action coming in, early on throughout this entire game. As you see, the guys from Rain Gaming are clearly alone in this particular spot of the map. It does look like they've made this theirs. They can just loot away and get, ready for those late fights. And also you have the guys from Gone, not too far away from UAE Inspector right there. And UAE hasn't been doing so well, so this is probably an opportunity for them to get into taking some shots right there to get into the game. Do you think Miramar might provide them such an opportunity?
I'm really hoping so. I mean, we're waiting to see UAE, step up once again, bring in that performance that we saw on that first day. And hopefully, yeah, this is exactly the map on which they do that. But of course, looking at the Los Leones region, it is pretty tough now at the time. We've got Mullins, of course, now pointing out that M24. But we've got the players here from Ultra 6. We've got the players right up ahead of them being from the Euphoric Gods. Then also we saw the players there from E, not too far away. So there is a potential for a few fights to break out in the early game. But of course, I think the best play kind of here would be for these teams to try and get their loot and then try to find a good position within the phase. Themselves in a good angle in that zone, because fighting in Los Leones sometimes is quite difficult.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely a difficult one. We might see some teams rotate away. I do think Inspector is alone in that particular position, and if they do push him, they could take him down, and definitely be a very sad one to see for UAE. And the guys from God need to be careful how they rotate out of this one, how they get and pick their spots. I think this is a dangerous one for Sinister to be doing, just moving around in the open.
Yeah, it's getting up to some sinister stuff right there. But of course, man, if he stays out in the open too long, that would be a very easy hit for the side there of Ultra 6 to find those shots. You can see them now still moving around. But fortunately, Inspector has managed to disengage from Los Leones. He's tried to move up a little bit further away. And of course, it'd be interesting to see where the rest of the team is, whether or not he'll be able to rejoin back up with them. But of course, now we jump over towards the players here from NFxUNIQUE, as they are also just making their way through the map, trying to still find a good position for them to take occupation of. And it seems like they're all the way here near Hatin, potentially.
Ooh. The guys from Citizens have now lost one player, which is Rick, and they're really close to Blank Legion. And Blank Legion also taking on some fights. We got about 3 teams here all battling it out. And yeah, Black Legion have lost one player. They came in with 3 players in this game, and the guys from Spaza are now pushing up onto them. Oof, they might have it tough again. Remember, we said, Blank Legion has had it tough, since coming in from Umzansi into the spot. And the guys from Spaza look like a team who can sniff out that fear coming up from those teams. It seems like predators, just going in for that finish right now.
This is the proving grounds. I mean, this is where the teams show us what they've got and why they made it up to here, why they earn a slot to move in towards these. But of course, now you can see Blank Legion now just trying to play these ridge lines as Libernox gets knocked out. And the players here from Spaza are turning up that aggression dial to almost 11 as they make their way on through. The Citizens, of course, still just up ahead of them, taking up a really good position up on the higher ground. So I'm really hoping to see them just play off of that angle and get those shots in. And of course, that is exactly what Potato does on to the side there of Romeo.
All right, 11 putting in a lot of work as he takes down one guy. He's going for the next guy. Ooh. And it is now, oh my goodness. The guys from Citizens now doing a lot of work. They've taken down Romeo. It's now left with just one guy for Spaza, and Potato is not holding back, waiting for his teammate just to push him to that building. He goes in for that kill finish, and Schizo, if I'm going to call him Schizo, I hope I pronounced it right, up against a full team. And 11 going for that final finish and being able to take out the entire Spaza 6 team. GG's to the guys from Citizen. Seeing them now coming in finally and taking out a really tough team and getting those sweet kill points. And probably also getting some good loot throughout the entire game too.
I mean, that was a really good play coming in there from the Citizens. Just staying cool under the pressure, managing to just move up in a very calculated manner, finding themselves in front of the players there from Spaza and being able to react accordingly, finding the hits and, of course, essentially then sending them right back into the lobby. But now as we move back up in towards Los Leones, you can see the players here from Ultra 6 keeping a very watchful eye on the team here from the Euphoric Gods as they also now try to make their way on through. And both these teams are getting closer and closer together.
So Pablo, Sinister, and Cole just taking a look all the way down to 6, and who knows who's gonna get that first shot and then push on. As no brand is in the building, all on his own, they need to be really careful how they do manage to push into this one. And that's the thing about Miramar though. Like, it's a really big map, but you do tend to see a lot of fights happening early on and throughout the entire game.
Yeah, it's all about that positional awareness that we see coming in from the teams. But of course, now I'm really liking the positioning for both teams here. The players coming in from the Euphoric Gods really playing their positioning to their favor. Now kind of drawing out the play there from the side of Ultra 6, kind of forcing them to put themselves out in the open. And of course, now we wait to see whether or not that will work out for them, whether they'll be able to follow through on those hits.
With that M24, but getting a body shot onto Sinister. This is one of those times where they're both just sitting down, just stalking each other, just waiting for that perfect time when they get one knock, and then boom, the whole team just pushes up onto the location. And yeah, it's just one of those times when you're just waiting for that perfect chance, and you can see that Sonny is just holding like a flank position, just hoping to see if he can get one of the guys from 6. If he can take out No Brad, then this entire game just opens up.
Yeah, it definitely does. And of course, as you can see, Hunter now having that Hunter mode engaged as he sneaks around up on the roof, changing over towards the VSS, trying to get those shots in towards No Braino just up ahead. But the rest of the squad there from Ultra 6, they're starting to move in. They're starting to fortify the front that they've got. Of course, they're from the Euphoric Gods, so it's still a fairly tough position for both these teams. You could also almost call this a Mexican standoff, as neither of these teams are willing to budge just yet. They're like, I am here, I'm going to try and defend it as best I can.
Yeah, exactly. Just being very, 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 aggressive neighbors, just popping up shots, reducing each other's health at this particular point in time. So, yeah, it's a very tough one for them to push. As you can see, the structure of the buildings, so it's most likely going to be a long fight. And I do think that 6 is just going to decide, hey, you know what, it's probably not worth it. Just pull away from this fight and get into some other better positions. Yeah, that may be the play from them. Just taking a look at this map again, you can see that 4KT has found himself in that center, and that's one of the things that champions do. They're pretty close to the guys from Aphelion Apex. And are we going to see an upset from other teams going on, against them, or are they going to hold that position and get themselves that advantage again?
Well, it could honestly swing either which way, but of course, so many teams, as we saw now on that map, starting to converge. Everyone trying to find an angle over in towards those open fields. As we know, those open fields, they don't have a lot of compounds in the vicinity. So the sooner you can move in and you can try and secure one of those spots, the better you will fare in the coming phases. But of course, we saw the players there from Apex positioned really strongly. We saw the players there from 4KT also not too far away. But the team from Fear and the team there from the Young Thundercats, they are also still in the vicinity. But I was curious now to see just how they're going to try and defend their positions, as we have a few stray shots already finding their way over towards that road, with the players now from NFxUNIQUE making their way on in from this eastern side, creeping up right behind the Young Thundercats.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole lot of teams at these particular positions. You got NFxUNIQUE, like you said, next to Thundercats. You got Fear Esports, not too far away from them. You also got 4KT, not too far, But this position from NFxUNIQUE is a really tricky one, as they could take out one of the guys from YT and then push up onto those buildings. It's interesting to see what Zis does with that. M24, if he can get that knock and totally open up this game, as he spots Adonis right there on that window. In 1 second, could change this entire thing.
It's a really tricky spot, especially for NFxUNIQUE. I mean, this still makes them a little bit vulnerable to any potential third parties coming in. I have to say, the players from Young Thundercats look like they are in a little bit more of a secure position. It's much easier to defend from this angle. But of course, as you can see, we still have the players from Fear just up ahead. Also, the team there from UAE positioned just off to the side. So these are definitely getting closer and closer as we progress through these phases, with only a few more seconds remaining on the clock before that blue zone starts closing in. And so I'm curious to see where these teams are going to try and rotate into, which positions they're going to try and take up, because this next position is going to be an absolutely crucial one for them.
Yeah, exactly. The zone is definitely going to be a deciding factor, as now the guys from UAE taking on some fight right here of their own. Oof. And Inspector able to retaliate and do that damage, as Sahil is taken down, but he may be able to get that res on. I'm curious to see who wins this particular fight.
And of course, we've got the players here from Euphoric God now just pushing closer, applying that extra bit of pressure on it to the side there of UAE. But of course, this is where we hope the players from UAE will stand their ground and put the shots in towards Euphoric as they continue to push on up. They don't have a clear line of sight just yet, but it seems like UAE is now getting ready to move on up. Matrix getting caught out and tries to dodge the bullets, but of course, unfortunately, he is not able to do that, and down he goes at the hand of Sinister. But you can see also now Potato quickly trying to get that res in towards the hill, while Inspector starts to push up the hill. It could be a bit of an uphill battle. Of course, some easy shots now coming in there from the Euphoric Gods, and with that, UAE is now taken down to only 2 remaining players.
UAE really gets in a tough time right here in this particular match. You can see Sinister with that VSS taking out Matrix right there. I mean, you know the thing about VSS is you don't know where exactly the shot is coming from, and he was able to just catch him off guard there. But the entire UAE team is now taken out of the game. That is really interesting to see for a team who has, who dominated in the first game, having a really tough time, and today has not just been their day. It's not just been it for them.
Yeah, that is the beauty of these battle royales. The teams have to try consistency, trying to build up that momentum on which they can potentially try to rely on as they make their way through these games. But of course, now we see the players here from NFxUNIQUE taking up a position right here alongside the Young Thundercats. And if only they were to turn their attention a little bit further towards the west, they would see that angle potentially on towards them. But of course, now we see some teams still spread out throughout the region here, as the players there from Rain from Hell now find their way in the west, pulling up right there alongside the players from 4KT, as well as the team there from the Outsiders. So it could be a very challenging position, especially now that the zone has shifted up in towards the northwest once again.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty interesting to see how this one's gonna go. You can see one of the guys from Rain Gaming getting into the trouble of their own, but 4KT now pushing up onto. Oof. Storm getting that confirmed right there. The 4KT needs to make their way into the zone. This is going to be where they begin to upset the battle as they're taking on the guys from Ring Gaming themselves.
Ooh la la, indeed, these players from 4KT, they really need to, well, they not need to, but they really are starting to get a little bit more aggressive, starting to show us why they are here. They're starting to play the game that we know them for, the game that we've seen them play so many times before. So it's really good to see them now stepping back up and just getting straight up onto the plate, getting ready to perform. And with so many teams still remaining in this fourth phase, we've got 13 teams, 43 players, all just scattered throughout the region. But of course, you can see those shots now flying into the side of the player. As the players there from the Euphoric gods. But here we go, Euphoric gods now just trying to find the angle closer towards zone. NFxUNIQUE still just up in front of them. So waiting to see, are they going to try and potentially rotate around them? Maybe wrap around and take another entrance into the zone? Or will we see them push aggressively through the players from NFxUNIQUE?
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things to definitely note about the guys from 4KT is they're getting more comfortable about their fights. They're getting more comfortable about taking positions and taking on teams. So you can see they're not afraid to take on Rain Gaming right there. And if you can take away the guys who were holding the top position coming in today, then you're definitely, fighting for that top #1 spot. And those are the things that they're doing. They're not afraid to take on the fights. They're ready to show that they should be #1. And yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Oh, but the shots now starting to find their way on through. We see the players there from the Black Clovers, of course, just positioned up to the north, up in the northeastern side of the zone itself. But of course, now NFxUNIQUE still trying to fish at those shots over towards the players there from Euphoric gods as they now plan a little bit of a different rotation to potentially come in from a more southerly angle in towards the zone. As we see, there's already so many teams positioned down in it towards the south. Of course, just up ahead, we've got the players there. We've got 4KT now. Citizens also right there alongside them. Of course, Eamon now just stepping up with those hits, finding them straight into the side there of Rogue Baby. But of course, a beautiful retaliation coming right back at them. Andrew finds the hit into the side of Muffin. So Sincerity now really starting to lose the numbers as they are getting caught in such a difficult position. But of course, they're still going to try and find an approach, find an angle in towards the zone as the players get thinned out of one by one. The blue zone, of course, now being relentless as ever, moving up and, of course, just assisting in the demise of some of these teams.
And you can see definitely 4KT now putting in damage, a lot of damage into the teams that are possibly the rivals on the table, but they're being held up by Citizens. And yeah, the guys from Citizens need to get that revive on, but you can see Pronto and Co trying to push in. They've lost Aima right here, especially to the blue zone, but they need to get in. They need to find a way to get good spots, and yeah, that's definitely what Storm is trying to do, trying to rotate to get that angle and push onto the guys from Citizen. It's really interesting to see what Dami does. I can see he does take down Proto from 4KT. Woo!
Oh, man, what a shot that was from Dami indeed. But of course, they still have their numbers up, trying to get those raises in. But they also now need to think of a way how they're going to get back in towards the zone, as the blue zone is starting to close on up. They're about 250 meters out of zone, so quite a bit of distance for them to cover, and so many obstacles still remain in front of them. So of course now we see some of the players here from 4KT getting those rotations in, getting themselves sorted as they move on up. But the Citizens coming out of the blue, finding the shot. Up comes Potato, finds one of the shots in towards Citizens, but of course now taking quite a bit of damage also thanks to the blue zone. The players there from Ultra 6 just off in the distance, just helping the players from Citizens to get their way back into the lobby. 8 teams now remain. Everyone's still trying to push in, especially the teams down in the south. They're trying to find that angle. But of course, as you can see, the players here from Ultra 6 making it fairly difficult for the team there from the Euphoric gods, as they now also get finished up, as well as the team from NFxUNIQUE still holding down on the side, finding the hits into the side of Miyagi, the master, showing us how to get knocked and of course how to try and push in towards that zone. Wax on, wax off, and maybe right back into the lobby.
We got 7 teams right here, and it has been a really tough one. GG's to the guys from Sidizens putting in a lot of work into the guys from 4KT. It would have been lovely seeing them make it out, but you know who's the most OP player in this game? Play zone. When you think you won the fight, it's coming for you. So you always need to find yourself in that zone and try not to drag fights too long outside the zone. But you still got Aphelion Apex, you still got the guys from Outsiders, you know, who are now struggling to try and make their way in. They got Fear not too far away from them. Hound takes down Swags, but he needs to get in the zone as he's taken down by himself. Oof, taken down by me. And he'll be loved right there. So many different teams around them. The shots flying in from so many different angles. We're down to 6 teams and 20 players, and just take a look at that 200K.
I mean, it is such a highly contested zone. As we can see, of course, now the players here from Black Clover, Mr. Dagger, trying to do what a dagger does and find that little spot, that little weakness into the side there of Apex as he comes in with that bolt action, trying to find the hits. But of course, now they start descending on the team here from Apex. The pressure starting to mount. Zero. Now the last player, will he be the hero or will he go down? He pulls it off. What a play by Zero, going from 0 to hero in under 2 seconds. Beautiful play. But of course, now they still need to focus on getting back in towards that zone. 5 teams remain, 15. Blue zone moving up. This is the 6th phase. Oh, down he goes. Now there are only 4 remaining teams. And of course, the players are still scattered throughout the zone. We don't see any teams in the zone just yet. Everyone are going to try and push on in. We see the players there from NFxUNIQUE now opening fire, taking several shots onto anyone that moves, anything that dares come in their way. But of course, let's look at this angle coming. Superior, absolutely phenomenal, as the also now tries to push further in towards the zone. The players there from Fear potentially now just sitting on 1 remaining player. It's going to be such a difficult one to find a good position, but of course everyone is going to try, and this is where we're going to see that chaos just coming into play.
All right, so we got 4 teams trying to make it all the way into that really difficult zone. So this is where the smokes now begin to, you know, become really important for the various teams. You got Superior holding that point. You got 6 but found themselves in good position within the zone. Can they make this work for them? As no brand is just standing there trying to guard the various teams. You still got NF who's taking some shots from Boogsy, and he's also been put down. Oof, we're down to 3 teams. We're down to Superior. We're down to EX and 6. Just trying to find a way to survive this. If they can get the res on, if Mullins and Co. This was a really tough game.
Oh, down goes the young Thundercats, the players here from Ultra 6. Coming in with the Ultra play, and of course now we see quite a lot of pressure on the shoulders here for the players from NFxUNIQUE as they find themselves really well positioned within that zone. Of course, 3 players standing between them and that chicken dinner. It could potentially be a 2v3 or even a 1v3. Of course, if they are not able to get that res in towards Terry, that you can see that is slowly bleeding out on the far side. But of course, Zist can still pull this one out of the hat if he can separate the players there from Ultra 6 and just take the engagements one by one. But I highly doubt that, just looking at the sheer number of players standing between him and that chicken dinner. Of course, that's the situational awareness coming in from the side there of Ultra 6. But of course, well, we see NFxUNIQUE having a really good angle. If Ziz can just play this one well, he could claim that chicken dinner for himself. Oh! Unless the shots come in like that from Mullins. Miyagi, of course, still alive. He has mastered the art of moving through the zones. And here he goes. He's nothing the gap between them and the players there from NFxUNIQUE. Oh, so many shots still flying in. Ziz now starting to run out of options as the players from Ultra 6 have found their way in towards zone. But there's still an open field between NFxUNIQUE and the players, of course, coming in here from Ultra 6. So if Ziz aren't just long enough and pick them off, he can steal that chicken dinner right from their hands. But of course, this is now where we see the players from Ultra 6 starting to split up, starting to take different approaches in towards that zone. The blue zone, of course, closing up as well. A bombardment of utilities now finding their way onto the side there of Ziz. Gets caught out in the blue zone, and the shots find their way home. Down they go, and Ultra 6 claim the chicken dinner with 8 kills in the bag.
Oh my goodness, this game certainly didn't go the way I thought it was going to go with the teams who were in the action during the start of the game. But Ultra 6 coming in and shocking me and getting that winner chicken dinner with 8 kills to the name. You got NF, who did do well for themselves also with Ziz right there at the last spot, getting themselves 3 kills. You still got YT also with 3 kills to the name. And, you know, a lot of teams doing well. But one team to take note of also, again, who, we were hoping to see a lot more action from was UAE. And yeah, they got taken out early on during that game. And it's a shame to see that they're not doing as well as they did during the first day. But I hope as days and the season progresses, they would find a rhythm and get back into the game.
Wow, that was amazing gameplay for our final game of the weekend at the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Norwin Gaming. Let's take a very quick look at the updated leaderboard of the matches between Groups A and D.
All right, well, there we have it. The players from Ultra 6 coming in with a very comfortable 23 points. Of course, claiming that chicken dinner as well. The players there from NFxUNIQUE sitting quite comfortably also in second on 15 points. The Young Thundercats over in third place, 14. Aphelion Apex in fourth place on 10 points. Then, of course, we got the players there from Black Clover and Fear. Both teams sitting on 9 points, but of course being in 5th and 6th place respectively. We also see the players there from Slime 4KT on 8 points, and as well as the Citizens gaming team also on 8 points. So some really interesting numbers that we have coming off of the back of this last match.
Yeah, exactly. It's lovely to see, SCC getting into a whole lot of action themselves. It finally took the zone to get Potato out of that game, but they did put up a really strong fight against the guys from 4KT. So they've shown that they can fight when it comes down to it. What they do need to do now is get themselves into better positions. As we see the guys from Euphoria getting 9th place there with 5 points themselves, and Outsiders also having 4 points, and Spaza 6 with 3 kill points right there. You got Sincerity, who we're expecting to see more from after winning 2 winner chicken dinners in the previous days. Blank Legion, also, who have had a tough time getting that 1 placement point. And you got UAE, which is a real surprise. In 14th place, you got Ring from Hell, who have been sort of good throughout today. I mean, no, not sort of good, really good throughout today with placement points and kill points right there. And you got NF also. So it's one of those games where like we've said throughout the entire season, there's no team to be underestimated. There's some teams who are struggling, but you see UAE doing so well the first day, and today's not just a day.
I was pretty rain at the bottom, and it's literally has just made me understand that it's like we said, it's you cannot tell, and that's the beauty of the Umzansi Esports League, brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. I do believe we have an update of the overall standings so people can have an idea of what it looks like. But mind you, what you see now is a leaderboard that still has teams from Group B and C
that need to take each other on for the games to be balanced out amongst all the teams. So some teams have an advantage, and might put them in a higher position on the overall leaderboard. Just a quick reminder, the Umzansi Esports League Season 3 continues next weekend on Friday through to Sunday, so you don't want to miss it. If you aren't following Northern Gaming on their socials and streaming platforms, you need to do that today. We're going to be pausing, and like I said, you need to follow us on our socials to get updated, especially on the updated leaderboard which we posted on our socials. Guys, it's been an amazing day. I've had so much fun watching you guys do what you do best and make PUBG look as easy lemon squeezy, as they say. Ladies and gentlemen, big shout out to DK, big shout out to Axfire. These gentlemen have done an amazing job bringing you the best of African esports, Umzansi Esports League, brought to you by Northern Gaming. Shout out to all our teams and players. Big shout out to you, the viewers, for being part of this amazing, monumental event. We will be signing off now, but we hope to see you next Friday when we continue with action from the Umzansi Esports League Season 3, brought to you by Northern Gaming. My name is Dr. Sid. Enjoy the rest of your evening.